Hi, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me in the lounge. Welcome back to day 2 of the Young SDG Innovators Lounge, the YSIP Lounge. We're so excited to have you back, and on behalf of the entire UN Global Compact team, as well as the YSIP team, we're really looking forward to another day of great programming that we have lined up for you, featuring our innovators from all around the world, but not just our innovators. We have mentors, we have champions, we have innovation leaders and experts as well. So we're very excited to bring you this day of programming, again, focused on discussions and conversations around the intersection between youth and innovation and leadership. So we're looking forward to getting started just in a couple of minutes. Yesterday, just to give you a recap for those of you that were not able to attend the YSIP Lounge yesterday, we had almost 8 hours of programming featuring innovators from all around the world. We had more than 50 speakers in over 15 sessions from Lebanon, from Mexico, from South Africa, the UK, the US, Brazil. It was really an amazing series of sessions that we had, featuring different innovative solutions. We had stories, we had fireside chats and interviews. So we're very much looking forward to bringing you more of the same today. Only the same in terms of we're bringing that same level of energy and spirit and dynamism to the conversations, being able to provide a platform to the next generation of leaders, but also our current generation of innovative thinkers. Today, we'll be featuring sessions and stories and innovative solutions from young innovators and our YSIP program participants from Ukraine, from the UK, from Lebanon. You've already seen, those of you that were on earlier, great sessions from our YSIP program in Bangladesh, where we've been able to promote the work and also showcase the great thinking around innovation, leadership, and technology. So we're looking forward to more great sessions today. And so we will be getting started in about 2 minutes. And my colleague Ludmila from Global Compact Network Ukraine will be taking us through the first set of sessions today, showcasing and featuring some of the great work that's been done, but also some of the breakthrough thinking that's been taking place in conversations in the Ukraine. So stay tuned shortly. We look forward to providing you with a lot of great content for the rest of the day today. Thanks so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Kiro, for the great introduction and the start of our day. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this YSIP Lounge session of Enablers of Sustainable Innovations. I'm Ludmila, YSIP Country Manager in Ukraine, and I'm happy to introduce our first speakers, Mykola Tekzey, Manager Partner of Brain Tuition, and Pavlo Regi, Manager Partner of CICE Institute. They're both our YSIP mentors and main facilitators. And yes, hello, Pavlo and Mykola. Hi, and stage is yours.
Okay, now we'll try to figure out how to share the screen with you. Just a second.
As a small reminder for all people that are watching us, please double-click on the share screen, so then you will see the presentation in a bigger option.
Luda, if you could just confirm that you guys can see the presentation and the first slide of it.
Yes, we can.
Okay,
You can see you.
Super. So what we would like to talk today about is our findings from the journey that we made together with Ukrainian young SDG innovators that took us 5 camps and pretty intense collaboration with 10 Ukrainian companies ranging from startups to the large corporations. And we actually found the set of enablers that will, I hope, help you guys from all around the world to A, develop, B, plan, and C, implement and scale up SDG innovations moving forward. Just to highlight, and we will obviously go one by one, these are the 8 enablers that include the purpose, the choice, empathy, system, drive, scale, collaboration, and change that we believe are key success factors to, introduce the SDG in your particular business unit or NGO or the public sector organization as well. As I said, all of those enablers and the takeaways that we actually found going through the process are taken from the real life experience of 10 Ukrainian companies, that started the journey from trying to figure out what SDGs are, ending up with real projects that help real people, real businesses, and real societies to live a better world. So without further ado, I'll just quickly jump into the first one, and my colleague Pavlo, my co-facilitator, we ran those camps together, will also give you some of the case studies from our work together with the Ukrainian companies. So number one that we actually found as one of the most important is having the purpose. Treating the SDG is not something that is in a hype or that can be used as a PR tool, but rather understanding that sustainability-led growth is critical to your company and why. Not only that, once you figured out your why in terms of SDGs and why do you believe this is super important for your company or the organization moving forward, how successful you are and how disciplined you are. Also in terms of measuring the why, basically building the KPI system or OKR system or the system or the metrics, whatever you use as a lingo, and how do you really cascade those down to the every layer and element of the organization to make sure that you measure your why and you can track the success of your why. In terms of deliverables that we figured out together with the teams on this first enabler is the vision and the role that SDGs play in the organization and how they create shared value. Obviously, the matrix system, some of the participants of the program were more successful in matrix, some less, but still, when it comes to customers, shareholders, and society, we need to measure the value we create and basically whether, yes, no, the KPIs were cascaded. Pavlo?
Okay, thank you, Boris. Actually, hello to everyone, if I didn't manage to say hi yet. So you hear me well?
Yes, all good.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's sound check. So for the purpose, I would say this is one of the core, challenges for the team participating in our program in Ukraine. And at the same time, it became a core enabler. And what we have seen and observed that those teams who managed to find this big why, which simultaneously, or according to the shared value concept, simultaneously exist and was valuable for business and for and contributing to SDGs. So those teams, those projects progress much faster and generated or use their resources and time in more sufficient way. And actually, those teams who became, let's say, finalists and brightest projects in the final of the program, all of them did it with this first step as the purpose pretty well, and this is one of the key learnings and biggest enablers for their success was. I think we can move to the next one.
Great. So basically, purpose or having the purpose and figuring out what your purpose is the step one. Moving forward is basically choosing the opportunities, figuring out the opportunity and the whole variety of options we can do in order to realize or materialize our purpose. We move on into whether the company invests enough time and resources to develop portfolio of SDG projects, because having the why without having the real projects to fulfill the why is kind of weird. And once we know that we have the resources to come up with the portfolio of projects, do we have enough resources, again, be it time, be it partners, be it budgets, to launch? So basically, on this enabler, the deliverables in the program during the camps were whether the full understanding of SDGs, because once or if you don't understand them, probably it's pretty hard time to come up with the portfolio of projects. So it's only the understanding that drives the choice. And also a very important thing is really a thorough work and understanding and planning on how the SDG application actually drives business, social, cultural, environmental, etc. value. Meaning that if we apply the SDG here, we will, create value for a particular stakeholder. This helps to choose, which project to pursue. Going forward, and this is probably the hardest part, is figuring out with the management teams of the companies that we invited into the program, whether they commit the resources to A, develop, B, plan, and launch in market the SDGs projects, and finally, figuring out the governance system. Simply speaking, who makes a decision, when, who allocates the resources, and how, to make sure the whole thing is moving forward without any delay.
And on this stage, I would say on the choice level, or with the choice enabler, this is, so we had some wins, we had some successes, and some know-hows and best practices. And in this case, with the choice, I would say it was the key learning for the majority of project teams in Ukraine. And maybe this is specific of the country, and even I would say this part of the world, or this level of country and economical development, is that you should put a little bit more efforts than in some other countries, I would say, in the world, to express the value of SDGs, and keep working on this, even if the company just like claiming that, yeah, we would love to, we interested in, etc., to demonstrate them value, which actually made them this choice on resources allocation. And actually, during the retrospective we made with the teams during the last camp, fifth camp, it was the key learning and key conclusion for all of the team, that making this choice, making this decision on allocating the resources, and maybe the lack of the formal, let's say, resource and time-wise commitment was one of the key barriers for those teams who struggled, for whom this journey was, let's say, not only pleasant and interesting, but also kind of tough and challenging.
Great. We will speed up a bit. Number 3 is empathy, and it's all about the understanding the customer, understanding the human being behind the project, figuring out what are the jobs to be done, what are the needs, and what are the pains. And we basically applied design thinking and tools and methodologies coming from design thinking to help the teams to put themselves in the shoes of the customer, of the human being, on the person, real person, and then applying this human-centered approach, define the challenge that they want to work with. This also included radical collaboration between not only the cross-functional team from the company or from the organization, but also inclusion of partners and customers, real consumers, real people, when it comes to figuring out the challenge. And finally, what it brought us to is having the value proposition, the solution to the needs that we have identified, that is based on the customer needs and pains. Therefore, it's not something artificial coming from nowhere, but this is the result of expressing the empathy and really genuinely wanting to help the person.
Yeah, actually, on this stage, we reconfirmed once again that design thinking it's really proved its power, and absolutely amazing instrument for such kind of an exercises, and a great great conclusion you made on at this stage with this instrument, with this very instrument. So we observed that teams who try to resolve problems simultaneously for everyone, they used to jump from one stakeholder to another, and actually they waste a lot of resources and a lot of time doing this. At the same time, assume teams with the empathy to the problem and to actually the main holder, or let's say one person, one personality who feel this problem. Then after further steps with the project development, with the solution development, became much more easier and much more faster. So the empathy, this is a great and very strong starting point, which enabled the rest of the journey.
Absolutely. Number 4 is about the system, because you can come up with a project or develop that solution, and you're trying to fit the new solution, the innovative solution, into the old business model, into the old internal environment. It usually doesn't work. The research proves that it's only about the business model innovation, innovating across the organization. Not with one solution, but across the elements of it, that brings real value. So we spent some time figuring out what are the business models for each company, what are the weak points of business models, what are the opportunities that we see in the context of SDGs moving forward. We engaged various stakeholder groups, and we asked our teams also to see how particular SDG solution or a particular SDG project either fits in the existing business model, but more importantly, how the business model needs to evolve in order to accommodate the SDG solution and scale it up.
Actually, not all the projects reach the level when they can admit that solution became integral part of the company business model, but for some teams it is so, and for other it became as a candidate, where I would say this solution is a candidate for the new business direction, which is very complementary to the core one. And once again, like for all the essentials, those projects which was most, I would say, successful, this factor is also was in the inventory, let's say, and was expressed.
Super. Number 5, drive. This is an interesting thing, because it's about going from the idea into the execution, and it's about the intention of the company or the vision of the company, how they see the SDG role. It's very much linked to the purpose, with really one big difference. On the purpose, we're talking about the manifesto. We are talking about the aspiration. Here, we're talking about how we plan and execute. How do we need to upgrade, change, evolve our internal policies, procedures, processes? How do we build cross-functional collaboration within the project? How do we get the early feedback from the prototypes we're making to the customers in order to really go fast and go efficiently? Pablo?
Yeah, thank you. I'm just with my mic button. With the drive, what is important to admit that it's also one of the big learnings we had, and especially for those companies, for those teams um, who were able to make at least a few iterations with their solution facing the reality. Um, these solutions demonstrated the, let's say, the biggest progress on one hand, on the other hand, the biggest value standing behind this solution. So this courage and drive to iterate was one of the instruments or one of the enablers of solution improvement each cycle, each iteration. So and we, I would say, even like saw how value is growing with each iteration. So this is another great learning which we saw and experienced during the program, and teams experienced it as well.
Right. So not only we were inspiring teams to go into the rapid prototyping, iteration by iteration, but also we pushed them from time to time, reminding and helping. And for those who ran a couple of sessions, a couple of iterations, the results were stellar, much better. Okay, number 6 is about scale. Are we ready to scale up? Do we understand what are the elements of the business model? What are the tools? What are the resources that we need in order to scale the SDG innovation for the right customer at the right geographical level, at the right business element or business unit? This is something that we try to keep in mind always. Also, coming to the CEOs and the management teams with the SDG projects, because usually those people are asking, okay, so if we do one pilot, one project, do we have an option of scaling up in mind?
And here we had two, let's say, big practical learnings. One of them is the market sizing, and this is the tool and the stage we use from the very beginning and back to this each hour camp, meaning that each time we with teams together we try to understand how big the size of the opportunity of resolving this or that problem team, or how big the challenge is. And from one side, it helps to focus more, it helps to get commitment, resources, and engagement. On another hand, on the scale stage, you immediately understand, how big the scale can be from one side, and from another side, while you iterating with the solution prototype, you understand, is it scalable overall? I mean, scalable the solution. From one side is the scale of the problem, and another side is the scale of the solution.
One important comment here, that we didn't want the teams to build something big, super big, from the very beginning. We were asking them to start from the quick wins. Start from something maybe of a smaller scale in order to display and in order to show to the organization and to the world that they are capable in delivering SDG innovations in a pretty limited amount of time. And once they prove that they are capable, then you go to scaling, versus planning something big that will take many years to produce or to develop, and on the way you lose kind of patience and belief of those people you're creating for, and probably that's not the best option. Moving forward is about collaboration, and this is our favorite probably, because the whole recent history and the whole recent crises show that at the end, it's if you want to make something super meaningful, like SDG innovations, you cannot do it alone. You need to engage external partners. You need to engage people from within the organization. You need to get in touch with innovation ecosystems, be it local startup communities, be it people like Silicon Valley, in order to come up with really meaningful breakthrough things and breakthrough projects. Pavlo?
Yeah, thank you. And in this case, we experience amazing variety of collaboration during our program, starting from internal collaboration inside the company, where the focus at the collaboration partner was also switch from horizontal relationship to like relationship with the managers and the business leaders, and collaboration with even with the clients and the business partner of the company who is participating in the program. And maybe my favorite one, it was the really multi-site collaboration with few NGOs, even with educational institutions in the country, because the solution grew up, let's say the idea grew up to the level of the like national educational program for one of the project teams. So so collaboration in our case it was flourishing, I would say, and at the same time it really proved its power.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. And finally, the change, also something that might be forgotten moving forward through the process. The teams were with us during those 5 camps. Sounds like a lot of days and a lot of hours, but obviously they spend much more time within their organizations, be it NGOs, startups, or big businesses. How do they engage, or how do they help to engage the organization to sustain the change, to move the change forward in order to innovate continuously? During our last camp, we were really focused on giving the teams some tips on change management and what are the approaches to proper change management, how important, how vital it is to build communication plans based on the personas of employees or external partners, how super important it is to build flat organizations with really quick feedback loops that employ and implement agile principles that help the companies, the organizations, the startups to learn, adapt, and innovate continuously.
Yeah, and actually at this stage, it's kind of becoming kind of a loop with the first one, and I will explain you why it is so. Because you remember we in our case we said that one of our core challenges was this understanding the value and like genuine absorption of the integration of the SDG agenda into the corporate strategy. So majority of companies in Ukraine are still on the stage when they just beginning at the beginning of this journey, let's say. So so that is why the change level, the change stage, the, let's say, quick wins, small demonstration of the progress, becoming the enabler for those teams who manage to demonstrate them, to persuade to move further and scale inside of the organization this big move, this big change. So the small steps, small improvements, small things they managed to show were really enabler to make change happening. And this is another and maybe final learning which we would love to share with you today.
Right. So absolutely, just to wrap up, as we are running out of time, knowing why we are committed to SDGs is super important, and creating the notion of shared value was really vital during the first camps. Creating and choosing from the portfolio of SDG applications, displaying empathy, meaning understanding the customer and putting ourselves into customer shoes, really figuring out what the real human problems are and how do we plan to solve them, integrating the projects, the solutions, the prototypes of those solutions into the business model while evolving the business model, driving, making it happen, being really committed, and thinking about how to make it continuously. Also having in mind the scale-up plan, collaboration from within the organization with employees and people from various functions, but also very importantly with startups, tech companies, innovation ecosystems, NGOs, other companies, even competition, absolutely. And framing it into the change management plan that will move the whole thing forward into sustainable pipeline of innovations. And I guess from behalf of all the mentors, facilitators, participants, the Ukrainian office, thank you very much. And we look forward to meeting you again within the beautiful program like this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, both of you, for this important analysis and insights. I'm sure it's very useful for the second round of the program. And I should add that it was a pleasure to work with both of you. Before we move to hear from UK team, I would like to remind you that in 30 minutes, we will talk why we need a generation of green entrepreneurs, and we will see 2 solution showcase from Ukrainian teams. Allow us a minute to transition with the next group of speakers. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Renee. How are you?
I'm right. How are you?
I'm good. Are the others here?
They should be here very shortly.
Okay, that's no problem. We have another couple of minutes.
It's still.
Okay,
I mean, it's 8:30 in the UK now, so it's quite early. We're slowly.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's another 2 minutes, so maybe they're getting ready. Fran is here. Hi, Fran.
Hello, can you see and hear me?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Okay. We'll be on the screen the whole time, won't we? So once I finish talking, I can't drink my tea.
No.
I'll put it out of the way then.
Maybe a good advice for everyone, seeing that or a reminder that you can double click on the slides to have the slides maximized if you don't want to see us sipping tea, because again, it is morning, so we will slowly try to get through our rituals.
Right. And Claire, will you do screenshots at all? Do you know?
I can do a screenshot of you guys, yeah, when the 3 of you are on screen. It's just one presentation you've got, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I'll take a few. Rosalie, are you here yet? Are you coming? Not just yet. Okay, we'll just wait another moment.
If she were to appear in the middle of our presentation, would you be able to promote her and make her presenter then? Oh, she's already here. No worries.
I can see you and hear you, but my video was disabled. Here now. Sorry for holding you down.
Great. Okay, that's excellent. Well, everyone, I want to introduce you to Renee, Rosalie, and Fran, our UK Young SDG innovators from ARM. So, guys, take it away.
Hi there, can you hear me? Great. Thanks so much for joining us at this SDG Innovators Programme Lounge session, and we're here to be here on behalf of ARM. It's with great thanks to Cynthia and our friends and colleagues on the programme for making the last 10 months a success. So my name's Fran Baker and I'm Social Innovation Lead for ARM, working within our sustainability function. I'm joined by Rene de Jong, who's a senior research engineer in our R&D team, and Rosalie Tribe, who's sustainability project manager. And just before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the world that we find ourselves in today. Of course, COVID-19 has sent shockwaves throughout the world, and at the same time, racial inequality and specifically anti-Black racism has been brought into sharp focus as the murder of George Floyd has ignited waves of protests and action all around the world. And what we've seen are people coming together to raise their voices against racial injustice and to demand change. And so I'd like to just echo Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez's call to raise our voices against racism and racist behaviour wherever we see it as a worldwide human rights issue that we must all play our part in addressing. And so, for those of you who don't know, ARM is a global technology company, a semiconductor and software design company with engineering capability covering mobile devices, IoT devices, large-scale connected devices and data, solving complex computer science challenges. And globally, we have several thousand engineers, IT and infrastructure support. And ARM also maintains a large global technology partner network covering 95% of global mobile phones and 70% of wearable devices. And we now also have a sustainability mission that underpins our company vision to ensure that ARM technology helps to realise the global goals. And what we mean here is that we want to extend the benefits of technology to people and areas that don't currently have technology products and services designed for them. And to do this, we always work in partnership, and we have an ambition to deliver positive impact through partnership throughout our work. And whilst this is our ambition, we recognise that technology is not a silver bullet, it's not always the answer, but it can be used as a tool to underpin the delivery of all the goals. Technology can be an enabler to achieve the goals. And if we think of, for example, smart agriculture for goal 2 or telemedicine for goal 3, and we believe that we can use the SDGs as a catalyst for responsible innovation. And so we've put the goals at the heart of our sustainability approach, whether that's starting at the core level where we demonstrate responsible business practices that protect people and planet. Beyond that, how we enable our people inside the organisation through our employee fundraising, campaigning and volunteering programme, or through internal collaborations for sustainable transformation. And outside of our own organisation, beyond that, is how we partner to extend the benefits of technology to those who don't have technology products and services designed for them, whether that's through supporting entrepreneurs, startups, right the way through to our global social impact partnership, for example, with UNICEF, who we've worked in partnership with, and their Office of Innovation since 2015. And beyond all of this, it's how we use our unique position in a technology ecosystem to catalyse positive transformation and inspire the sector to unite to deliver technology solutions for the goals through 2030 vision, because we know that no single company, organisation, government, charity will be able to solve the global goals alone. And so we're using our business partnership model to ensure that our technology is building trust, enabling our people, improving lives and helping to achieve the goals. And we see sustainability as going beyond the philanthropic. The world's mega trends like climate change, resource pressures, clean technology, renewable energy, radical transparency and generational shifts in what customers and consumers are expecting from organisations, particularly from millennials such as myself. It requires companies to do better, and with new technologies emerging, we feel that we have the potential to steer that trajectory. And again, echoing Mark Carney in the opening plenary yesterday, companies operating more sustainably cut costs, they manage risks better, they can drive innovation and build brand value, and they're more profitable. So sustainability is not at odds with profits. In fact, there's a huge commercial opportunity estimated at a value of $12 trillion for the private sector through working towards tackling the goals, as I'm sure we all know. And there are many ways that technology can contribute to societal issues. Our social impact work at ARM and areas where we see technology delivering social impact is through our partners. So on the left-hand side here, there's the Talking Book, which is an ARM-based audio computer designed to deliver instructional messages to low literate populations in rural parts of the world traditionally cut off from other information sources, whether that might be programmed to share information around crop yields or health messages. On the right-hand side is Simprints, an ARM-based biometric scanner, a digital identity tool that's used to connect frontline healthcare workers with medical records. And so here we can see digital tools being used in a way that connects people that are previously disconnected. And also this provides learning opportunities for us as an organisation as we uncover new use cases for our technology, new challenges to overcome and new regions to operate in. And as I mentioned, we have a large ecosystem of partners, so we enable the application of technology. We work in partnership all the time. And it's not just programs and partners within the sustainability team that contribute to the goals, it's the vast potential for software services to impact how cities can be more sustainable and efficient in the future, right the way from city infrastructure, buildings, transportation and logistics, all the way through to utilities and waste management. And so we see the goals as a huge opportunity for us to do good and do good business, and for us to view them as a catalyst for responsible technology innovation.
Thanks, Fran. So technology is often seen as having the potential to make our lives better, as you can see here. Apart from making our daily lives easier, it also opens up a new way to make changes to the way we're living. If you look at the changes that happened during the COVID crisis, right? Doctors' appointments, work, education, all have embraced virtual interaction to keep going through the lockdown. More people chose to do their shopping online. And to avoid contamination, those who went out to the shop were encouraged to make more use of contactless payment methods. Those changes are only possible when you have the options accessible to you. And that is exactly what technology can provide. It gives you more tools and more options to solve problems. You may think that that means that the tech world just should continue as usual and that the useful tools will automatically be invented. But we all remember seeing headlines like these. Technology may come with unintended consequences. There's often cultural distrust in technologies because of the times that it was used irresponsibly or before all the consequences were known. I'm convinced that you want to avoid those headlines, but you want to do more than just avoid these headlines. You want to be more than just the best of the bad bunch. What you want is headlines. It's like this. Headlines that show that your technology is helping the world to become better. So you have the potential to provide the tools to help for the better and make a positive impact in someone's life and society and maybe the world. And then the question then rises is, where do you put your energy as a technology company? Because if we're looking at the global goals, we see there's a lot of potential for making a positive contribution. If you just look at the first three goals and look what challenges there are and what technologies could help to solve those issues, we already see a variety of areas that could help to advance the global goals. Each challenge has a variety of potential technologies that can help solve it. Some of these solutions involve rolling out existing technologies to new areas, such as data analytics, improved connectivity, and other areas like waste reduction and precision medicine, they're further out, and we will need additional research and advancements in computer science for them to make them ready to be implemented. For all 17 goals, we found that there is a big role to play for digital technology. We've made an inventory of the technology trends we see and the technology needed to achieve the global goals. And from that inventory, we've identified 5 themes in computer science that we believe are vital research topics to investigate to make a positive contribution to the goals. Within these topics, there are interesting research questions to be asked, and the answers to them, they are within reach within the next 10 years. For instance, how could ultra-efficient IoT be applied to food waste globally? How could ML, so machine learning, how could they power diagnostic tools for every doctor everywhere? And how can we make smart cities and smart communities that work for communities from New York to Baidar? All these technologies should be accessible, accountable, explainable, and fair for everyone. These are answers that we will need if we want to achieve the global goals by 2030. In looking at this, we're understanding new opportunities, new problems to solve, and new use cases for our technology. These technologies provide the opportunity to leapfrog existing paradigms, and people trapped in poverty could rise out of it. And because all these areas are commercially sustainable and all have new pools and new customers to address. Because we know that change is coming. We can see change all around us, and these changes will challenge the way that we do business. We see new policies coming into place to help fight the climate emergency. We see new business areas emerge, leading to new business models and new paradigms. We see more conscious consumption. We see an aging population increasing the need for a strong healthcare system. We see more pressure on resources. We see increased need to prepare for pandemics. Can all these areas only be addressed with technology? Well, probably not, but technology can create more options and help you to deal with all these challenges in a more adaptive and resilient way. We have seen from the recent challenges that there is a need for more tools, apps, trackers, tests, dashboards. All these need to ensure we can manage the change that's coming our way. The question then is how companies can help and be ready to prepare for these changes. And that has been the focus of our innovation as part of the YSIP program. And Rosalie will tell you all about this. So I'd like to hand over now to Rosalie.
Thanks, Rene. So we've now just heard from Rene and Fran about how technology could potentially help. And the reason why ARM is in a unique place in this conversation is that we are global tech leaders. What we do is in effect the R&D for semiconductor companies. We hold a unique position within the technology ecosystem, which means that due to our continuous partnership business model, working with over 1,000 customers and over 150 ecosystem partners, we have a huge opportunity to influence the ecosystem and the industry. We want to use our partnership business model to ensure ARM technology helps to realise the global goals. We want our tech to be an essential part of the solution to global challenges, and we want to see technology used for good and to underpin the delivery of all the goals. If we develop R&D and tech innovations that make a positive impact on the goals, this will cascade through our partners and ecosystem. So what are we going to do? We want our company to help advance these areas. So as part of the Sustainability Innovators Programme, we've been on this 10-month journey to develop a breakthrough innovation for our company, which will culminate in us pitching our idea to our senior leaders. So what we're going to pitch is that ARM need a dedicated project team that specifically focuses on tech R&D for the global goals. This group would work on these technologies and develop them further. We're not going to do this alone. We will need to work in partnership, but we could provide tech to make this happen. Approaching these problem bases and innovation through first and foremost a sustainability perspective would be a shift for our research team, adding a new dimension to looking at these problems. So sustainability and research are two departments within ARM. Sustainability has access to our social innovation and philanthropic partners, the people who best know and understand problem spaces. And research has a lot of connection to the academic world alongside the tech expertise, so it can provide the solutions. Placing this dedicated team here gives us visibility in both worlds. So we believe through collaboration we can achieve the best outcomes, ensuring we are truly understanding the problems and designing appropriate solutions to support the delivery of the goals. Our ambition is that through this team we can focus on exploring questions such as, can we repurpose our existing technology to solve challenges in new markets and unlock the commercial opportunity they offer? Can we understand the emerging market pool for sustainable technologies, and how does this inform the direction of the industry? And can we contribute to dealing with e-waste in a secure way? So we want dedicated resources to focus on this, a specific project team within ARM Research linked to sustainability team with secundees from other business groups. There's bubbling interest in this across our organisation in different pockets of activity, and we want to galvanise this interest now and steer it towards aligning with our business interests. We want to bring the global goals front and centre of innovation. The YSIP programme has been a vehicle that's enabled us to have these conversations internally. We want to create formal processes to explore these opportunities, and processes might seem dry, taking away from the innovation, but without them, in terms of behaviour change that we want to see across our organisation, we would be asking people to do things beyond their scope, and have found that this makes it harder to achieve the outcomes we want. Instead, establishing formal processes helps make it the norm and empowers people to get involved. We want to utilise and leverage existing mechanisms within the company to make this happen, and to help create tech know-how inside the company, embed sustainability and global goals awareness within the company, and provide employee engagement and talent development opportunities. We will do this through common programmes, and these can also provide an opportunity for cross-group collaboration, learning and projects. We want to galvanise our exec support, track impact against the global goals through projects at every level by adding to existing project tracking tools, and want to spread the sustainability mindset by exposing our engineers to opportunities to work on these problems. We want to create a designated project team within research focused on sustainable development solutions, optimising our existing processes and projects to be more sustainable, exploring new markets, new challenges, new business opportunities for Arm Tech, and be ready with the sustainable product designs and offerings for our partners, and prepare for a more sustainable ecosystem and world. So what does success look like? We want to make sure this has an impact. We hope this is something that is really embedded in everything Arm does. We want to measure success in addressing SDGs, also within building business within Arm to make sure that tech is fit for a sustainable future, looking at the SDGs to drive this innovation. Going through this process and this programme has already achieved some positive results for us. We're already seeing the benefits of the programme through connections, conversations, networks, pilot projects that have been a result of this. We aren't there yet. We haven't got this project team, but we have made steps and incremental gains towards it. As everyone I'm sure knows, behaviour change is difficult, but what we are proud of is that we have galvanised support for this work. We have made our research team more aware of the global goals and how technology can contribute, and we have engaged more people across our organisation in this conversation. Our big ambition is to inspire the tech sector, to fast-track ambitions, to build back better, to create a social, just and green recovery. If everything goes perfectly, we hope this leads to change. Despite the formal programme ending, we will continue to drive this and keep the conversation active within our company. Using our tech, our people and passion for progress, we are proud to work at an organisation that focuses on tech for the global goals, and one where we're encouraged to play our part in ensuring, in light of COVID-19, we can build back better. Thank you. So we have 10 minutes left. I'm just going to try and open the chat in case there are any questions from those watching.
So I see one from Denise. I hope that I pronounced your name right. So Denise asking, Rosalie, do you mean SDG targets under the SDG problem base? I think this must have been with reference to slides. I think you mentioned it somewhere here.
Yeah, so at Arm we've been looking, and I think across the Young Sustainability Innovators Programme, we've been looking at the SDGs right through the targets and down to the indicator level. So we want to be looking at how we can actually sort of make an impact, make a shift on those targets and indicators that the SDGs are being measured against. Does anyone else want to add anything?
So Denise asks, well, I hope this answers your question, Denise. But I think he was referring to slide 17, so the box here at the left, at the bottom left. Yeah.
Are there any other questions, comments?
Guys, so if no one has any other questions, maybe do you want to share a couple of last words on your experience on the YSIP program, or what your plan is from here?
Sure, I can start with that one. The YSIP programme has been so valuable, mainly because it allowed us to carve some time out of busy diaries to get together with a group of like-minded people. And I was saying on a YSIP call a few weeks ago that it was actually really inspiring. So when you're buried in work or you're working really hard against lots of challenges, being surrounded by a group of people that are like-minded, that can see the optimism in how we might be able to make a change was really valuable, actually, a real boost, as well as the time that we were able to dedicate to it. And going forwards, we're going to try and capitalise on the support that we've got for the programme, the relationships we've built internally. I described it as being kind of a badge of honour that we were able to use to reach people that we might not have been able to reach previously. So that was really valuable. Rosalie or Renee, do you want to add anything else?
Sure. Yeah, I guess another part of the program I found enormously valuable was the opportunity to meet all of the other young innovators that are participating in the UK, to create that network that I hope we will continue to stay in touch, to collaborate, to help each other moving forwards, and the opportunity to understand what they're working on within their companies, how their solutions are developing, what problems they're experiencing, and having this safe space to sort of share all of this and work out our ideas together was really brilliant.
Great. And Renee, are you still there? You are.
I'm back now. I don't know what happened. I think my internet must have glitched. So,
Oh, okay.
Any final thoughts on the programme, Renee?
Yeah, so I only heard the first half of your answer, so apologies if I'm repeating something. But the program was I think amazing because of the amazing group of people that were coming together from companies all around. It's so easy in your day-to-day life to just focus on your main task and the thing that you're doing without looking, the fans what other people are doing, and just aligning all that thinking and just brainstorming together and bouncing ideas was very nice, and a lot of new ideas came in that process, which was very good. And it sort of needed that sort of looking above and beyond what your day-to-day task is to really change this, isn't it? And it's coming back from the camps. I often had conversations with colleagues in research, and I could see that people were getting more and more enthusiastic about this as well, and seeing that, yeah, actually there is something that we can do with technology, and there's a place that we need to be in to help out with this. So it was great to see that momentum sort of gather over the year, and I hope that we can keep pushing it forward for next year as well.
Yeah, I've no doubt you will. So well done again to Fran, Rosalie and Renee. That was a fantastic presentation on the role technology can have in advancing the goals. So thanks very much, guys. And we'll hand over now to the next presentation starting at 9, or maybe they'll start a little bit early. And we'll be back at 12:30 in 30 minutes to the next UK team. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, again. Thanks for joining us today for the YSIP launch session on why we need a generation of green entrepreneurs. I'm Ludmila, a YSIP country manager in Ukraine, and I'm glad to introduce our speaker, our first speaker, Roman Zinchenko. He's chairman of Green Incubator. He will join us in a minute. And later, we will also, two of our teams will join us to showcase their solutions. This is Pharmac company and YPAM. Just give us a second. Sorry, we're having some technical troubles, but our speaker is joining us now. And so far, I really want to thank you for the great presentation, the previous team from UK. I think it's really a great solution. And also, it was really nice to hear about your journey from your perspective, how it was in your country. So for us, it also was very interesting and useful. And yes, and finally, our speaker is coming. Hello, Roman. Happy to see you here.
To everybody in every time zone.
Yes, I already did some small introduction. As I mentioned before, Roman Zinchenko is the chairman of Green Incubator, and he also was a YSIP mentor. And now he will talk why we need a generation of green entrepreneurs. So stage is yours, and see you.
Thank you, Ludmila. Thank you, everybody. It's pleased to be with you. And actually, I'll be maybe shifting a bit in the focus of what I'll be sharing with you. So a bit of background. Green Incubator organization I'm co-founded 11 years ago and is pleased to represent has been cheerleading the green and sustainable transformation since its foundation. And over this course, we saw a number of trends we may need to upgrade, change, or look into if we want to move for more sustainable economy and for more sustainable enterprise and businesses. So the core idea when my brother Andrei and I were starting the incubator 11 years ago was that we cannot fix the environmental and climate crisis with the level of business models that are that exists in extractive industry. So you cannot fix something broken with the broken business models. So that's why there is a need for different type of entrepreneurship, there is a need for different type of solutions, and there is a need for different type of sustainable economies. But how do we get there? What can we achieve on this way? And here is the sign of hope I'm also getting from the economic matrices and from the economic data which are publicly available. So what's cool now in the world of wealth? Maybe it's not very attractive to speak about the richest, the most and biggest, and having the largest market capitalization. But if you would look into the number of the companies at the top of capitalization list, and if you look at the list of the world's richest people, you will see an interesting common denominator. Very often, extremely often, they are first generation billionaires and they're first generation giants, which means that the renewal time of the economy, the introduction of new products, new solution is way faster when we see, for example, 50 years ago. So the family businesses are really interesting thing, but wealth, it's maybe not the best solution in many cases. So, and I thought, okay, many of this billions and trillions of market capitalization, they've been built on the very extractive principle of doing business, on the externalities not accounted for, on the huge carbon footprint, on the huge environmental footprint, very often significant damage to the communities and other. How we can achieve the different transition, how we can achieve the different approach to building wealth while remaining the sustainable as a species, why we are part of nature which is not endangered. And here's an interesting thought across my mind. Maybe we can look into redefining a number of educational components which are shaping entrepreneurs, because to develop the new aspects of the economy, we certainly need updates in a number of educational, in a number of community development, and in a number of technical approaches. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe we should go deeper than just the classical approach. Okay, the markets are there, let's do a bit of market regulations, like create some market oversight and have the economy straighten up. So we've been cheerleading sustainable entrepreneurship since for 11 years. And what we saw over this process is that actually very often that's not the technology and that's not the entrepreneurial drive which is creating sustainable businesses. It's the combination of integral technological approaches with the right adjustments of business models and with the creating of business model with look into sustainable planetary P&L. While we were thinking about the how we can serve the community of eco-innovators better, we are now learning that the current educational paradigm for both business education and for university and school education is lacking a number of components we need to grow into sustainable economies. And they're not just in business schools. They are often in chemist educations, they're often in geologist education, they are often in the electronics education, geodesics, earth sciences, and many other things. Because many components we are now providing at different level of different schools. They do approach to business as the business of extractive nature. They do miss accounting externalities. And that's probably, we should start earlier than we think now. We shouldn't be pushing the existing businesses into a sustainable paradigm. We should invest a lot of efforts into creating the knowledge models and values models early for people being able to explore different attitudes and different approaches in various aspects of the economy. Where can we get help for that? Well, that's biology, that's earth sciences, that's the a lot in thermal dynamics and math. And we just need to add there several components. There is a beauty hiding in many sectors of knowledge. We just need to explore it. So, for example, can we bring the cascading business model to construction sector? Can we help the what was waste to become the valuable resource? Yes, sure. We have a lot of samples for that, and that would be probably even economically better at some point. But what is lacking there? We have a huge lack of people who believe this is possible. So, and I was thinking about how we can serve the green entrepreneurs better, how we can help them in addition to what we have in our program. Because Green Incubator now is managing one of the grant programs for sustainable entrepreneurs. We're providing green education, but we clearly see there's a number of sectors where we are lacking the reach and where we are lacking the impact. And primarily this is the sectors of getting into corporates. And this is the sector where we are not helping engineering schools enough to define the sustainable business models. And what I see now, we should focus more on the areas we've been abandoning, and we should focus on the professional education, university education, and sometimes school education to integrate the curriculum of sustainability-driven design, sustainability-driven operation, sustainability-driven maintenance, and sustainability-driven upgrades in different sectors of economy. We do rely on many underlying structures, and upgrading them into sustainable wastewater treatment, waste delivery, or electricity solutions would certainly require a lot of time and a lot of resources. But if the people who are working on these key infrastructure components, key economy components, from water supply to retail and fashion, are skeptic about the potential of sustainability for their businesses, that's probably increasing chances of failure. And I'm actually seeing a lot of people who are rather skeptic in terms of sustainable businesses as compared to traditional extractive business models. And yes, that's a cool and interesting challenge for us to have. To help people design the P&L of their businesses, being able not just be good for the planet, but be able to beat their competitors who are following much more, much dirtier and polluting business models, leaving a long trail of waste and destruction, either in communities or in the natural habitat, and taking out without giving. So the core idea here is we should start earlier. We should start in the schools before we get to the universities, providing the knowledge for future engineers, the knowledge to future city officials, the knowledge to future policymakers, and the knowledge to the future urban designers, how they can transform these ecosystems into more sustainable things. And that is the long tasks. So educational institutions as well as business communities are probably the key partner in this work, and probably in the next 10 years we will have something to share what we've learned from this endeavor and how we can achieve change in this field. I'm probably done on time. Luda, if we have some questions, I'll be happy to address them. And
yeah, I think like if someone have questions, you can write them in the chat and or reach out to Roman via his profile, so like you can connect with him. Thank you so much, Roman. I think you raised very important questions, and we still need to continue our work to find the answers. Now I would like to give the floor to our team, innovators team, and this is Anastasia Belik and Anastasia Kolesnik. They're from YPAM Systems, and I see Anastasia Belik, and we have both girls. Great. So you can start sharing your screen, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Luda. I hope you hear me well and you can see my screen.
Yes, it's good.
Great. So, hello to everyone. Happy to be here and present YPAM Systems project to all of you. Let's move on to our presentation. All investments, including SDG, must be scalable, liquid, and diversified to hit the market. Investors want to have enough information to make wise decisions, but here in Ukraine, we still have no comprehensive mechanism to show credible performance and impact of SDGs funds and investments. We were thinking too long how YPAM systems can influence on this problem and what solution we may propose. And of course, how our solution may meet the expectation of the key client, company, and SDG. So as one of the key providers of IT services, we came to the solution that is directly related to software development. Sustainable Development Goals Business Intelligence Platform. This platform is aimed to help investors to ensure comprehensive presentation and transparency of investment opportunity, monitor and control of capital flow in respect to attaining sustainable development goals. On the next slide, you may see all concerned parties and what benefits BI platform may bring to them. In our solution, we were trying to reach goal number 17, partnership for the goals, but then we realized that actually our platform will cover also other sustainable development goals. Anastasia will explain the mechanism of our platform.
Thank you. Great. On this slide, you may see the logical scheme for interaction between the participants. The change driver initiates the SDG-related project, then the project goes through audition by an independent company, which calculates risk and analyzes money return. Based on this data, intermediary becomes an issuer of the financial instruments to the market. The platform generates reporting based on GRI framework and IFRS standards. So it provides the transparency for the investors on the money, as well as the final investor has an option to invest into particular goals. So such investment would be built into the corporate strategy and brand. As of now, the next slide, please. Great. As of now, we have a team of 30 engineers working on the prototype. And basically, the competitors on the market are mostly presented by private funds doing the impact investment and cover the whole cycle themselves. The next stage on our side, as we see it, would be involving the Capital Markets Competency Center present at EPAM Systems, the testing of the platform from the stakeholders, and the market release itself. That's it from our side, and we would extremely appreciate your feedback, and please feel free to reach out directly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, girls, for this very quick overview of your solution. And now I would like to invite our next group of innovators from the pharmaceutical company. Please, if everyone has some questions, write them in the chat, and then the girls can reply to it.
Thank you, Luda.
Thank you.
Where's our next team? Sorry, some transition moments. We're trying to connect to our innovators who want to talk how from the company that mostly concentrate on producing generic to shift to innovative company that can in very fast way to address the health challenges that we are facing now. And sorry for some problems. Sorry, so far guys have some troubles to join, and I hope they will fix it soon. But maybe I can invite girls back. Anastasia, if you can join us a little bit, maybe to answer the questions that are rising now in the chat, or maybe to share your personal experience in the program. Yes, thank you, Anastasia, for joining us again and stepping up for the guys who unfortunately having some troubles, and for them it seems like difficult to connect, and I hope they will reach out to technical team as soon as possible. I don't know, do you see the questions that are rising now in the chat?
Yeah, of course. I see the question from Dennis. Was that a concept or a working solution? Actually, that's our working solution, because we already have a production team, which is working on this solution, and we see our platform as I said, business intelligence, where investors will be able to see the financial accountability of their investment, SDG accountability as well, and it all will be regulated by government policies and controlled by independent auditor. So also investors will be able to see statistics and references to similar cases. And now we're working on the prototype. A bit later, we will be ready to show our platform. I think we need 1 or 2 months to finalize our prototype and moving on.
And I see there's another questions and comments.
About a legal relationship between investor and SDG. Yes, that's actually one of our goal is to make the transparent platform, which will be controlled by independent auditor. So first the auditor will check if the project or idea or solution is really about sustainable development goals or connecting somehow to these goals. And only after this, auditor will let the posting of idea on our platform. And the task of the auditor is to check is this legal in Ukraine or illegal, and is this project worth or should investor spend his money or her money on this or not. So we want to make the process of investment in our country more transparent and keeping all the government regulatory policies and following them.
Okay, thank you so much, girls, for stepping in. I see also there's question where will be possible to follow up the progress. Where will be possible to follow up the progress? Yeah, I think the girls can maybe share the link of their contacts. So then for the people who are interested, maybe have some expertise or can give the feedback, I can reach out to them or maybe cooperate and build the platform together. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, gladly.
Yes, it looks like the guys is joining us.
Thank you for the questions, and of course we will share our contacts in this chat.
Yes, we would probably be happy to reach out to you personally and ask for the feedback and gather as many questions as possible because we need them to improve the solution.
And if we have a few seconds, just to want to say thank you to our mentors and program organizers, because it was unbelievable experience, inspiring, useful, and it's first time. That's a lot of new things, and we were growing together with this program.
Thank you so much for your feedback. I see, unfortunately, we are running out of time, and I need to give a floor to our next team from the UK.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry for those who saw our some technical problems. Unfortunately, it looks like some computers very difficult to connect to the platform. But yes, I want to invite all of you to join us in 30 minutes for our panel discussion. And now I'm shifting to the UK team. Thank you guys again for joining, and see you.
Thank you.
So up next, we will have the GSK team from the UK. So Carly and David will be joining us in just a moment. Yes, I'm really looking forward to this presentation as well, Nikia and Cynthia. So it's still a minute until past. So the guys should be joining us any minute. David and Carly, are you guys there? Is everything okay? Oh, I see Carly is just joining. And David, great. Hi, David.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you perfect. Carly.
Hi, can you hear me okay as well? Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
I can hear you and see you. So great, guys, everyone. This is David and Carly, our GSK team from the UK. So take it away, guys.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Okay, fantastic. So let me get my screen up. Great. So hi everyone. Welcome. My name's Kai Davis.
And I am David Basaga.
And we make up one of the GSK team, which we're part of the UK cohort. As a Fagos session is actually only a shorter session. It's a 15-minute session. It is in the agenda for 30 minutes. So apologies to disappoint those who are expecting a longer session today. We'll take you through our breakthrough innovation in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And then we'd love to hear any questions or comments. And particularly what we're keen to do through this process is engage and collaborate with organizations that are working in similar areas. So equally, if this is something your company is working on that you'd like to connect on, it would be great to hear from you offline as well. So without further ado, I'll hand over to David to kick off our presentation.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Carly. And just for the ones who don't know about GSK, just to provide some context and background, we are a global healthcare company with 3 core global businesses where we discover, develop, and manufacture pharmaceutical medicines, vaccines, and consumer healthcare products. Our DNA is anchored in innovation by being science-led, in performance through our processes, and in trust from both our employees and all the patients our medicines touch. Overall, the purpose of GSK is to make people do more, feel better, and live longer through our medicines. As part of this effort to ensure trust, GSK supports a wide range of programs, from researching in the treatments of diseases in developing countries, such as tuberculosis, malaria, and HIV, ensuring a responsible pricing strategy and healthcare access, and by being absolutely committed to diversity and inclusion. Spanning across these 3 pillars, there is an ongoing commitment to reduce our environmental impact, particularly on plastics. And this is going to be the area of focus of our breakthrough innovation that Carly will be talking on in a few more slides.
Great. So why focus on plastics at all? I'm sure this isn't unfamiliar to many of you watching today, but did you know that 300 million tons of plastic are produced each year, and that this represents nearly the weight of humanity itself? And actually only 19.5% of this plastic is recycled, which then has a negative impact on our environment and public health as it ends up in the world's oceans, it's swallowed by animals, it clogs up our sewers. And quite staggeringly, if current trends continue, our oceans could actually contain more plastic than fish by 2050, which is quite a stark statistic. Particularly against the backdrop of current events of COVID, and that really emphasizes the need to reconfigure the way we as humans operate in relation to the environment. It's really now more important than ever that we as society are taking the necessary steps to protect the world we live in. So at GSK, the packaging of our products, of course, plays a very important role in delivering safe, stable and efficacious products. However, we recognise the impact that plastic packaging has on the environment. So we're already working really hard to reduce our plastic packaging, to make it recyclable, to increase the use of recycled plastic content, and to reduce our carbon emissions. And this work absolutely contributes to Goal 12 and 13. And where appropriate, we will seek to establish meaningful partnerships to further this aim in accordance with Goal 17. So we were sitting on pretty good backdrop at the start, but as we started on the YSIP program, we really asked ourselves, well, what more can we do? How can we accelerate more positive change within our organisation? And so after engaging with our internal experts and through the catalytic effect of the YSIP program, GSK is now developing an eco-design stage gate. So what is an eco-design stage gate, you may ask? Well, it represents the introduction of a sustainability assessment into the new product introduction process to aim to ensure recyclability and reusability of packaging materials. It really means that from the very outset, when an individual is designing packaging for a new product, that decision is founded on principles of sustainability. Initially, we'll pilot it on pills, so in blister packs or bottles, but with the potential and absolutely the intention to expand once that's proven to be effective. And the ambition here, well, it's really that our product level design decisions will better align with principles of sustainability.
Thank you, Carly. And if we dive into a bit more detail into how all this could work and actually what's new and what's different about it. So at the moment at GSK, sustainability considerations are key to our packaging design. However, what this eco-design stage gate is going to ensure is that we do this in a consistent and robust way. So the way this could work is that really the team working on a new product design. So this goes from all the way from research and development scientists, from the packaging specialists, from the manufacturing engineers at the supply chain side. All of them will define their product intent and their packaging material and design. So this can be features and things such as the number of pills per blister or the packaging material choice. And once that's selected, the team will check their design against the global quality policy outlined in the eco-design stage gate, really resulting in a binary outcome. Either some or all of the aspects of this new design do not comply with the quality policy, and hence the team needs to go back and revisit until those features really comply from an environmental and sustainability perspective. Or actually all the work they've been doing is compliant and the team can progress with this new product introduction process, hence really ensuring that the principles of sustainability and recyclability are being met.
Great. And finally, so we all know it's really critical when we're trying to implement change to measure and assess impact to make sure that what we set out to achieve is actually following through. And we propose to measure our impact by the displayed outputs, outcomes and impact measures, which you can read on screen there. And overall, really what our ambition here is to have a positive effect on SDG 12 and 13 by reducing plastic consumption within GSK. And in turn, what we really hope to do is to demonstrate really what's possible within the health sector and catalyse change across the industry, showing that as a health company, we can continue to deliver the same levels of product efficacy and patient safety in our cancer and autoimmune medicines, for example, but at the same time, drive greater sustainability.
And just to add a final note, we will obviously like to thank the UN Global Compact Network and the UK cohort for all the brainstorming and ideas, our mentors and champions internally in GSK as well. And we're more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. So thank you very much.
Great. So just looking at the chat feed, so I think Astrid has said, so the eco design stage gate is similar to extended producer responsibility. So yes, I guess in some sense, Astrid, I guess what we're also trying to do with the eco design stage gate is bring it much more earlier in the process. So even beyond and before a product is out there and we're thinking about, okay, well, how do we make sure that, you know, for that product's life cycle, it's sustainable, actually get in from the very start, so that whilst our products are being produced, that they won't even be developed in a certain design if that design is not sustainable in and of itself. So it's really trying to bring that, I guess, decision point much earlier in the day, so that we're founding the designs that we're making on packaging, on green principles, rather than waiting till it's too late to do so.
I can see Alex says, how is this disclosed? Will the reporting be made public? We're not thinking of making this whole decision-making process public, in the sense that the global quality policy will be an internal GSK policy to use. However, what we will be disclosing is the fact and the certification that all our packaging material choices are compliant with this eco-design stage gate, and as such, we will be able to certify that. And obviously, one of the things that we're really seeing in the industry is this shift in the traditional big pharma companies, really, to start looking into their sustainability and into the environmental impact. And as such, obviously, we'll be more than happy and more than open to look at, you know, ways of working and looking at, you know, cross-industry initiatives. And in that sense, we will obviously be more than happy to share our learnings and our knowledge.
Great. Thanks, David. One from Kate as well. So how receptive are stakeholders that will be using this due process? Yeah, great question, Kate. And that was, I think, one of David and I's key concern at the start of our time on the program is, you know, we could go through the YSIP program, come up with a great concept and really struggle to get any traction internally. What's been great, actually, is we've found quite the opposite. I think, you know, one of the benefits of the YSIP program is you've got senior stakeholder buy-in from the get-go by the way the program's set up and the mentors and champions format. And we found internally that there was a lot of appetite around this, and actually being able to clarify a clear way of improving sustainability in quite a clear, succinct, you know, concept, got a lot of traction internally. And what's been actually really nice is GSK is set up into three business units, in that we've got our pharmaceutical business, we've got our vaccines business, and we've got our consumer healthcare business. And we sit within the pharmaceutical business, but as an organic output of this work, we've ended up running an enterprise workshop across the three sections, so that we're actually engaging our consumer healthcare colleagues, our vaccines colleagues, to understand, okay, what are you doing? So we've actually managed to get stakeholder buy-in both within our pharmaceutical business unit, but also get the same across consumer healthcare and vaccines, and start to tie the dots between them. So yeah, it's certainly a concern we had when we started off, and it's been fantastic to actually see that we've achieved that quite well.
Yeah, and also to add on Carlit's thoughts, obviously this comes from the top-down approach from the senior leadership that they're actually committed. But also one of the things we've been looking at is that the employee engagement around sustainability is growing within GSK. So in a lot of the internal GSK surveys and a lot of the Let's Talk sessions that we have with senior leaders, a lot of employees are actually asking more about how can we be more sustainable, how can our packaging choices be more aligned with the sustainability assessment. So we're really hoping that the pressure from both the senior leaders and all the employees can really, you know, make this happen and take this on board. Yeah. What is the timeline from this point? What we're aiming at is that having this eco-design stage gate approved by senior leadership by the end of the year. And obviously the way we're looking at this is starting only with new product introductions. So this means products that are not in the market yet, but they will be in the next 2 to 3 years, and really starting to apply this eco-design stage gate with those products. So for that, we were looking at the next 1 to 2 years. And looking on how those interim figures look, then we will be looking at expanding this into different areas of the business. So not only the pills and the blisters and the pill bottles, but looking at other things such as syringes, or looking at some of the more complicated medicines that we have from a packaging perspective, and really starting to look at incorporating this stage gate in those medicines as well.
Great. And next question, which is a really important question that we've actually had a lot of discussions around internally. So I'll just read it out for those. So what is your thinking about how to ensure eco-design and more sustainable packaging is as accessible as plastic, which is so cheap to produce from a price perspective? Affordability is often a key determinant of accessibility. Absolutely. So this is a question we talked about internally, and making sure that our desire to be more sustainable doesn't then negatively impact access to medicines, which is absolutely critical to what we do. And we certainly wouldn't want to see a reduction in access as a result of being more sustainable. And it's absolutely a concern. I think there are two ways it could go, right? It could be more expensive because, as you say, you might be using more expensive plastics. But I think actually it could also go the other way. There could be an opportunity here and a commercial incentive almost for organizations to realize cost savings. And I think it's something we're very aware of, and that we're have to be very mindful of in building this into the process. But I think a great example, and this isn't plastics, but bear with me, is that if you think about sometimes when you order something from Amazon, from a large organization, and you get a small item in a large cardboard box that's full of paper, and actually the knock-on effects of that for that organization is expensive. They're using more materials to pack that product. They are having to take up more space in their warehouse. They are then having to purchase more delivery trucks to get them out because it takes up more space. So those costs layer up and up and make it more expensive. And I think this is what we think is the beauty of the eco-design stage gate, is because it's looking at that whole product's kind of cycle from when it's packed in the factory to when it reaches the patient. And that actually by thinking about a product in the round that way, you may not save a huge amount in terms of the packaging, or you may spend a little bit more, but then you may save things downstream in terms of where it's stored in the warehouse, or the suppliers you use to distribute it, or how it is, how many vans it takes to deliver. And so it's a very important concern, but we think the two are workable, and that they aren't necessarily not, what's the word I'm looking for, complementary to each other, but it's something that's front of our mind as we move through this process for certain.
Yeah, and just to very quickly add, yes, this is absolutely true that affordability is often a key determinant to accessibility, but actually what we're seeing, and actually we got some breaking news from last week in France, actually, where the French government put up a tender for manufacturing antibiotics and to really make them generic, and GSK was one of the bidders for this tender. And even though our cost of goods were in the cheapest among all the applicants and all the bidders, because of our sustainability assessment and because of all the sustainability practices that we currently have in France, the French government decided to give us that tender. So we're starting to look at how this sustainability piece is sometimes weighing even more than the actual cost of goods and actual affordability. Obviously, this is not something that all countries can afford to do, such as France, but it's certainly a shift in the trends that we're observing. And the next one was, how do you define sustainable packaging? What are the main features for consideration? That's a great question. I can see Carly's got some connection problems, so I will try to answer that question to the best of my knowledge. What we're looking really here is a few things. The first one is the packaging design. So I think we all seem familiar when we get a blister of different pills from hay fever or even some consumer healthcare products, and you can see there's so much plastic and so much empty space, and you can be thinking, well, actually you could put a few more pills around here and you could actually minimize the space of the box, the size of the information for use, etc. So So that's one aspect. And in terms of how can we actually minimize the content of the packaging material while ensuring that things like the transport or things like the transit is not going to be damaging or negatively affecting the safety and efficacy of the products. The other one is around the actual choice of the packaging material. So obviously, the pharmaceutical industry has always been getting this, this argument that the packaging material choices we have are to ensure the safety and efficacy of our products. So, medicines need to ensure to be able to be efficacious even if they're being stored at 30 degrees Celsius for 2 years and things like that. However, what we're looking is that sometimes those limits are way too high, and we can actually look for different plastics and different packaging materials that they still comply with such a tight regulation, but they're actually less carbon intensive. So what we will be looking with this eco-design stage gate is to asking these teams to really justify their packaging material choice and to really provide a detailed drop down in terms of their CO2 emission and their complexity into the life cycle management of that material, all the way from the chemical synthesis to the waste management and disposal. So that's really what we're trying to achieve here.
Great. And next question from Khalid. So are you working on this with other industry players leveraging collective R&D capability, or is it just GSK at the moment? As we all know, it's an industry-wide challenge. Absolutely, Khalid. And I think, as I said towards the end of my presentation, that's really where we want to get to. This is a great thing for GSK, absolutely. But it's not enough that just we do it. We want to help catalyze change across the industry and seek to see that as a standard, as a norm, and what is expected. Because I think often, particularly in the health sector, given the concerns around patient safety and efficacy of products, it's easy for folk to say, we can't compromise. The efficacy and the safety of the product is paramount. Absolutely, that is not. We don't deny that. What we're saying is, we can do this. We can do both. We can have good products, and we can do so in a sustainable way. In terms of what we're doing at the moment to seek to achieve that ambition, we're doing it internally, as I say, between our pharmaceuticals, our vaccines, and our consumer healthcare business, which I appreciate is all within the roof of GSK, but are run quite separately. And then now events such as this and through our networks, we really want to seek to engage with others. The YSIP program has been fantastic for building a network outside the health sector, and has helped us have great, helpful discussions with folk from other industry that also deal with packaging, perhaps outside the health sector. And we want to continue that conversation today, which was aligned to our ask at the start of this presentation, where if folk are working on this, please get in touch. And, it's a fantastic example. We did this presentation yesterday, and already an individual from a different pharmaceutical company has reached out to get in touch and wants to engage. And this is exactly what we wanted to get out of this 2-day conference is find folk that want to engage with on this, so we can collaborate and make this more than just a GSK thing. Absolutely.
I can see there's a last question from Cynthia saying, will this be advertised and promoted? Well, we are advertising it here at the UN Global Compact Leaders Summit. Our ambition is that once this gets approved through the senior stakeholders in GSK, yes, this will form part of our public disclosure in terms of our ambition and our actions to achieve the SDGs and to form part of our environmental sustainability strategy. So yeah, absolutely.
Great. I think that is well. Thank you very much, everyone, for your questions. And we've nearly filled the half hour unexpectedly. Fantastic.
I was going to say it could have gone to 30 minutes easy with all the questions. So thanks so much, David and Carly. That was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to just invite Cynthia on for a moment, as you're the last of the UK teams to present today, and she just wants to say a couple of words. So Cynthia, if you're there, please join us.
Hi, everyone. Really quickly before we hand over to the Ukraine team, I just wanted to say that it's been an absolute privilege to have been managing the program in the UK, and how every team has really just gone above and beyond to kind of, dig deeper into understanding the challenges their companies have, and what they could do to actually make it what they can do to actually actualize the SDGs. I just wanted to do a little plug because I can. And if there is any kind of company who is interested in connecting with the UK, if they wanted to have UK YSIPers, please do connect with me either through Hopin or we'll put our website here as well. You can email me. And yeah, all of our YSIPers are probably available to kind of share more of their experiences to let you know if you're interested in joining the UK. So thank you very much. Thank you, Carly and David. And I just want to hand over to Ukraine.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. I think it was really great sample and inspirational part. Yes, we want to give a second try to our team to run very fast before our panel will start. And yes, happy to see you guys, Denise and Pavlo from Fermac team. You can start sharing your slides. And yes, the stage is yours. I'm happy that you managed to skip the technical problems.
Do you see our presentation now?
So far, no. I hope it's coming. Yes, it's coming.
Okay. So sorry about the technical problems. We are from Ukraine, from pharmaceutical company number 1 from Pharmac, and we would want to present to you our project. Ukraine research institution do not receive sufficient funding, so they need to work on old equipment or equipment which they modified by their own hands. They work outdated researching and the problem without no economical purpose, with lack of young and active staff, with modern methods of data analysis. So we want to offer a solution. It's independent R&D technopolis under the supervising of Pharmac, which is aims to solve the problem of partnership between business and scientific structure. We want to create a place where the idea turns into the finished products and go to the market. So what is the R&D? R&D technopolis is complex of separate premises with development engineering infrastructure, with modern equipment where the experience can combine with innovative and solve the global issues, and the possibility of profiting successful sales on the market. What SDGs we can achieve with this project? The project mostly solves the problem partnerships between the business and the scientific structure. Also, it can improve the quality of higher education. It can increase economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And imagine, in case of implementation and successful development, it can reduce the mortality from disease, which is associated with lack of high cost of medicines. What opportunity and value gives the project? For scientists, it improves the quality of higher education. It's independent rating of technology. It's percent of possible profits. All infrastructure in one place. For company, it's reduced time for go to market. It's increased market share. It's access to new technology. Reputation of innovation company. It's recruiting. And if it will be success for society, it will be the new jobs. It's improving the qualification, additional assignment to budget, and available of medicines. Saving costs for patients. More about the business plan will talk my colleague Denise.
Thank you, Paulo. We predict within this project major cash flow from PR and increasing of reputation of Pharmac as innovation company. HR, where recruiting of the most progressive and talented staff included. Affiliate programs with institutes, research organizations, and funds. Any kind of advertisement, for example, with manufacturers of laboratory equipment, and software. We divided go-to-market plan into 3 main steps. First of all, we should calculate main economical parameters and present this case to our board for approval. The next step is to achieve financial viability. The third step dedicated to achieve forecasted profitability of this project. Sorry. Of course, to achieve organic growth, we will constantly search for new ideas to perform this process in the better way. What we have now? Currently, we created test website and Google form to search innovators who will be interested in cooperation with our company. We created form for preliminary assessment of selection of best ideas which they have. Also, we consulted about the possibility to organize workplace within the building which is currently under construction at Farmak. After accepting of this project by our board, we will transfer it to the project manager who is responsible for innovative search for further implementation of this idea. Thank you for your attention. If you have any question, please feel free to ask them.
Thank you so much, guys, for your presentation. Now I would like to ask our moderator for the next panel, Tana Saharuk, to join us. Yes, stage is ready.
Tatiana, do you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, super.
Perfect. Andrew?
Yeah, I'm here.
Super. Thank you. We've been waiting for 2 more speakers. Just a moment. Hello, everybody. Super.
Hello.
Elena, hi. And what about Virginia? Okay, I hope she will join our discussion very soon. I would like to start. Thank you everybody for joining us today here. I know that there's a very cold weather outside. Thank you for sitting in your offices or homes and thinking about Young SDG Innovators Program and its outcomes. Since the adaptation of sustainable development goals, there has been a clear need to bring in new thinking to identify how to achieve the SDGs in the span of 15 years. Of course, it is possible only through systemic education. And Young SDG Innovators Program is aimed to bring the best people, the brightest talents from the company to innovate and deliver tangible solutions with potential market value for their company. 10 teams from Ukraine have been working over their innovative projects aimed at sustainable development during 10 months. And it was absolutely new experience for Ukraine. That is why we gathered here YSIP champions and one of the YSIP mentors to discuss how the program changed young talents after the YSIP program. Let me introduce the champions, the people who led the teams in their sustainability journey and helped to establish a proper communication between the teams and the top management of the companies. So, our speakers are Andrew Lithin, the CEO of Yastros, Evgenia Volkova, the chief specialist from UTEC, Polina Tomachova, the CMO from FilmUA Group, and our mentor, Vitaly Vereshchagin, CEO from Kaparov, Ukraine. I would like to start from Andrew. Every day, the world's consumption of plastic straws reaches a few billions. In accordance with the UN estimates, to 2015, there could be more plastic in ocean than fish. Andrew, could you please share the experience of your company? How you can address these issues within your ordinary business? And what is your role in HoReCa business in Ukraine? And what is the innovative way of communication after the YSIP?
We take this issue very seriously, and our business model is built on addressing this challenge. So it's an essential part of any operations of HoReCa business today is to make a positive impact on the environment, and particularly waterways and oceans. And we offer the highest quality product for HoReCa businesses, a substitution to a single-use plastic straw. And by this small change in any cafe, bar, restaurant, or hotel, you can significantly reduce the harm caused by tons upon tons of plastic waste generated by these establishments annually. So we established at the end of 2018, and we are a fast-growing manufacturer with direct-to-consumer distribution strategy. This allows us to capture more margin and reduce footprint of our business. Joining Ukrainian local network of UN Global Compact, it invigorated our message for the market, because small and medium businesses, they do not often take corporate social responsibility and respective cost of this responsibility. But our team, we are being a representative of small and medium business of Ukraine, so we made a statement that sustainable development goals matter, and it's no matter of size of your company, or organization revenue, number of employees, or industry you're working. It's matter to address these challenges. It was a great honor to get an invitation to be a part of Young CDG Innovators program, and our team members, they received just right mentoring and acquired new knowledge, which definitely help us to sharpen our brand's positioning and communication patterns. So we focused on goal number 12, responsible consumption and production, and not only gained access to new audience and customers by incorporating the right messaging into our communication with customers, but we get some useful insights for our R&D processes and implemented them in production facility. So responding to US global call for change and addressing the challenge to reduce plastic pollution, we created value on local level as well, by not only replacing single-use plastics, but by creation opportunities and new workplaces and generating profit for us entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is a great example how a small business can bring great solutions to the whole world. And now I would like to invite Evgenia Volkova from DTEC. Evgenia, DTEC is one of the largest investors in the Ukrainian energy sector, employing over 70,000 people. DTEC companies produce coal, natural gas, generate electric power, supply thermal and electric power to end consumers, and provide energy services. You are the leader of the youth movement of DTEC. You came to the project with a team of young people from different enterprises, from different functions, and from different locations. Could you please share your experience of leveraging talents inside the company to navigate SDG innovators?
Yes, Tatiana, thank you for introduction. I really think that our team is because our innovators are miner, energy engineer, and ecologists from different regions of our country. After the first camp, we all realized that sustainable development goals have huge potential to bring positive changes. In our company, there are a lot of employees who are close to the similar views. And in addition, SDGs have been integrated into the tech ESG strategy. Responding to a question about talents, I think that key to success of any project are people. who live our values and truly believe in what they're doing. And this is the main role of our YAS movement of the tech. And our innovators are its members, of course. And it's really great that our company, the tech, supports talented YAS. And that's why I'm sure that we are born to succeed. Our team has already shared information about the SDGs with YAS movement members who cascaded it to other employees. And as you mentioned before, we are talking about over 70,000 people in different regions of Ukraine. And that is not enough, decided our team, and we have created an educational program about Global Compact and about 12, 13, and 15 SDGs. We also have recorded 4 videos that are available on YouTube, and we will continue to share our knowledge at out-of-school work in schools all over the country. Thus, we inform and save lives not only among our employees, but also among school children throughout the country. And I'm strongly feeling children and education are the main drivers of global changes. And we are sure that in Ukraine, there are a lot of people who share the sustainable development values. And our main goals are to find these people and help them to understand where to start. We want them to know that they are not alone in their desire to improve the world, and we are here to support them. Thank you. And thank you for this great opportunity to take part in this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Evgenia. It was a unique experience for everybody to have different people in the project. It makes the project much stronger and much more interesting.
I agree.
For doing that. And now I would like to go to Polina. During the YSIP program, we usually focused on the interest and efforts in SDGs of only one company. The team from a Kindred group decided that they may bring better effort if they find partners and try to involve as many stakeholders as possible to the solution in SDGs. Could you please share your experience of your team? How was it to work with people from outside and try to lead them in SDG sphere?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for your question. For our team, for the Kindred group team, it was completely natural and couldn't be otherwise. And there are several reasons for this. First, partnership is a very important feature of our corporate philosophy. It's because the cultural sector in which we work is important for everyone, and its development is a strategic issue for development of our country, of the mankind. The second, we represent creative industry, and it means that we can create collaboration focusing on ideas, not just profit. But the trick is our great idea, the website with filming Ukrainian education, to make our cinematography opportunities of Ukrainian widely known in the world is great for business. We earn a lot of money together because shooting in Eastern Europe is a trend. Unique and diverse locations are our strong point. Besides that, we are cost effective. Our company, as a key player of the market with a huge network of connection and partners of different levels, can become the link between quality production, which really means unique and cheap location, and Ukraine region. They have this unique and cheap location, but they either don't see their opportunities and or don't have ideas how to promote themselves. We really believe that our project will become an effective tool to bring international film production to Ukraine, and the new jobs and investments will have a positive impact for economic welfare of regions throughout Ukraine. It's a great idea, and a great idea is very strong thing. And the last but not the least, we are really looking for what we do, you know. But in order to continue to work effectively in the field of content production, we need terrible convenience and friendly environment for our business, for our stories, because our mission is tell stories, make history, and improve the world. But we understand very well, even for such a large company, a leader in the creative industry of Ukraine, this is a challenging task. Only partnership with other businesses, institutions, organizations, and all concerned people, we will be able to build audience, market we need for our product, for our stories. This is why we are always in search for partners and like-minded people. So, summarizing my answer to your question, the main point is that our inspiring ideas, business interests, and prospect of growth and development will encourage international partners and local stakeholders to work together in the future to make the world a better place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Polina. I agree with you. In accordance with the United Nations and Accenture joint report issued this year, around 70% of CEOs of Global Compact participants are involved in the sustainable development. And it's really important for the employees to understand that the business leaders are really involved in the sustainable development and can bring better solutions to the companies and better conditions to their employees. Vitaly, you are the Chief Executive Officer of an international company working in Ukraine. You have a huge experience of bringing international experience here in Ukraine. And you were our mentor during the 10 months, and you worked closely with our teams. I would like to ask you about your opinion about our team's efforts. How do you think, how effective the teams were? Did they reach their aims, goals? And good initiative of employees to bring a real change to the business.
Thank you, Tatiana. Good afternoon, colleagues. Nice to see you, nice to meet you. So thank you very much for this great opportunity to share some information about development of, we call it innovation thinking. What do innovation give us? In the corporate sector, they help a company to make a breakthrough, move forward from the usual and find completely new, sometimes really creative solutions. Tools that broaden the mind and stimulate the generation of new ideas are necessary for the development of out-of-the-box thinking. As a German company, DAW, Deutsche Fibellenwerke, Kaprol Ukraine is a part of this company. We are daughter company. The work on innovative solution is embedded in the corporate culture. We have even implemented a system of product innovation horizons that are monitored on a regular basis in all countries. DAW has an online ideation platform where an employee from whatever country can initiate our own project. The DAW Innovation Camp is created to generate the ideas where participant can develop his project, and then protect them. Innovative ideas of Kaprol Ukraine as a daughter company can also be placed at the ideation platform through the local program I Have an Idea. To develop non-standard thinking of employee, of employees, Couple Ukraine organize various training events. For example, within the framework of Kappa Role Talks, the team discusses a wide variety of topics, from art to healthy lifestyles, and also about leadership as ecosystem and so on. This allows them to look at the same things from different edges, change the prism of perception of the world. An active team is key to the company's success because in modern world, it is essential to be curious. Think about how to improve, create something completely new, sometimes that will cause a wow effect. We call it like a Thomas Peterson. The solution of modern global problem is impossible without such driving creators as the participants of Young SDG Innovators projects. They are driving force that helps companies grow, transform, and progress steadily towards achieving sustainable development goals for the sake of the well-being of the entire planet. So it is important to note that working on a project of this scale is very capacious and responsible. Therefore, the belief in success and support from the company's management in every stage plays a significant role. So it's impossible to work different way, management and other colleagues. And from my point of view, from our point of view, and it is great a chance to present ideas at the international level, as we see now, which leads participants to new stages in professional and, of course, in the personal development. So, thank you. It was from my point of view, it was one of the best year because I opened for myself a lot of met a lot of interesting, high motivated people. So thank you very much for this good year.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's true. Absolutely.
Yes, great experience.
Yeah. Tatiana, we don't hear you.
We don't hear.
Tatiana, we don't hear you.
I'm unmuting myself, sorry. This is not the end of our discussion. I would like to ask you some more questions, probably. You may know that the Global Office has already invited companies to join the second wave of Young SDG Innovators program. You were the expertise the first wave, and you saw the transformation from people who came to the program with the zero knowledge in SDGs and now presenting their innovative ideas during the Leaders Summit, the biggest UN event aimed on sustainable business. You remember that some of our teams represent themselves during the World Summit in Lisbon last year, and we hope that we will be able to go to New York and Dubai next year to represent our innovative ideas. What would be your suggestion to companies all over the world? Should they join the program? What can they find there? And is it worth it to go to the program? Let's start from Andrew, probably from you, as you were the first person.
Yeah, thank you for opportunity. So I would suggest for companies of various sizes to join the program, and I would suggest making different levels of the program, like basic for small and medium businesses, more advanced for bigger companies, and to allow some probably remote education or remote participation in a program for smaller companies. This will allow to exchange experience not only inside one community or one country, but between various participants from various countries. Because you know, like platforms like this one for remote events, for remote education, they give a great opportunity for smaller companies to get involved in bigger causes.
Thank you, thank you. Evgenia, the same question to you. And
you know, I know already the next participant because our innovative direct department already called me and asked about how we what we did in this program and what they should do to be the next participant. So I know who will call you the next, and I'm sure that the tech company will be the next participant. Will take part in the second wave of this project too. I think it was great experience, and for my profession and for my personal development. And of course, I'm sure that companies should take part in such kind of projects. I'm sure.
Thank you. Polina, what is your opinion on this question?
We don't hear you.
Polina, could you unmute yourself, please?
I totally agree with my colleague. It was a really great experience. I want to add about partners as I can. We are very grateful for this program, for the opportunity to get to know so many businesses, organizations, people with similar goals and values to our company, to our team. And this feeling we are not alone, so amazing and inspiration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope, fingers crossed, next week we will be able to gather all together physically, not only online, and discuss the outcomes of the first wave of YSIP program in Ukraine. And then we will see the whole picture of the project here, and we'll be able to compare our outcomes and world outcomes and see where Ukrainian companies could go next. Vitaly, could you please share your opinion on the question?
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana. From my point of view, this program is absolutely win-win. So customers, they will win new value proposition from business. Employees will get new experience, new contacts, new ideas, new role in the company. A company will win new benefits from introduce new product to the market, growing, profitable, and so on. Owners as well, they have dividends, they have market share, and governance or countries, they will it will get more taxes because business is growing. So this is absolutely win-win program. So wish Capital Ukraine, for example, to be part of this next year, and I'm sure our team will be add value to this program as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Vitaly. I would like to tell, I remind everybody that the last year in 2019, the UN Global Compact slogan was, "This is all about leadership." And I would like to transfer this slogan to our program because all our innovators became leaders, and they would be able to lead the sustainable project in their companies or maybe later in other companies, but they will be real sustainable leaders.
Yes.
And yesterday, during the Leaders Summit, we heard a lot about leadership in sustainability. And one of the remarks was that the real sustainable leader needs to have sustainable head, sustainable hands, and sustainable heart. The head is for bringing new strategies, because without experience, without knowledge, you wouldn't be able to bring those innovations. Without your hands, without skills, you wouldn't be able to lead other people in your sustainable journey. And of course, without heart, you wouldn't be able to innovate with the mind and innovate in a quality way. So I wish all of us and all our teams to have head, hands, and heart in their minds when they think about sustainable development. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and hope to see you soon physically, wrapping up our first wave of Young SDG Innovators program in Ukraine. See you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Tatiana, and thank you all our panelists for this conversation. I really would like to thank everyone also and to listen to our presentation. And please stay tuned, because our great team from Lebanon will present. I know that they have very interesting agenda, so I'm really happy to welcome Bruna. Floor is yours. Have fun and good luck.
Hello there, and thank you for the introduction, and thank you for joining this session. So we've listened to amazing panel discussions and interesting solution presentations within these 2 days. Now we're very excited to showcase some of the Lebanese innovators and their idea. The first team that will be showcasing their solution is Touch. They have been working on a mobile wallet that enables secure, safe, and easy-to-use digital cashless transactions. So now I will leave the floor to Malak Safiuddin, R&D consultant, Ali Sree, business intelligence consultant, and Raja Gandour, radio planning consultant at Touch, and they will tell you more about this amazing idea. Hi, Raji. Hi, Malak.
Hello, how are you, Bruna? Hello, everyone.
We're still waiting for Ali, but if you want to share your screen and start the presentation, please feel free.
Yeah, Ali will be sharing the screen from his side.
All right.
Ali was already in. I think he might be having some connection problem.
Maybe. Hi, Joseph. Remember, guys, you can ask questions to our innovators, all of them, about their solutions in the chat box, and we're happy to answer all your questions. So now that Ali is with us, we're going to start shortly. Ali, please share your screen and
hello, everyone.
About your ideas.
Yes, I will share my screen. So, which one? This one. Okay, everyone seeing my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, this one, share. What about now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah.
You have 15 minutes, guys.
Okay, perfect. So, hi everyone. Thank you for the opportunity that you gave us to present to showcase our solution, the Touch mobile wallet. And I'm going to present it today with my colleagues, Malak Safiuddin and Raja Ghandour. So we'll start with some questions. So when was the last time you had to pay in cash and got some change in return? Did you empty your sterilizer bottle just to feel that you killed every last bacteria or virus colonizing these banknotes? The viruses spread over banknotes will not end soon. Will continue your life with a sterilizer in your pocket all the time and every time you need to pay or receive money in cash? Have you suffered the bank ATM's queues? Not mentioning the frustration of not finding cash when it's your turn. Besides having to put a bottle of sterilizer on the buttons of the ATM to avoid getting infected from the previous customers. Is your mini market, grocery shops, or your favorite restaurant still accepting your credit card? Or do they prefer an alternative payment method outside the banking system? What about the guy who runs the private generator in your neighborhood or the janitor? Those guys don't accept credit cards and cash is scarce and limited. Did you hear about the recent thefts in shops and houses? These bad people know that people are saving some cash in the houses. And thus everyone is now in their target. It's not more the banks as their target. Rather, it's our own houses. So we have a problem here with the 5 dimensions. First of all, the COVID-19 pandemic and its wide effects on the economy and society. The coronavirus spreading over paper money, the lockdown and closure that limit people's ability to reach their banks, the unavailability of card payments terminals, and the high adoption of pay on delivery services. Another problem that we have only maybe in Lebanon is the economic crisis that we are suffering here locally in Lebanon, where we have limited cash liquidity due to the capital control. We have many people that becoming unbanked and employers who are not able to pay salaries due to cash shortage. Another problem is the way that how refugees, because we have a good amount of refugees from Syria or Palestine that receiving funds from NGOs and having to travel to receive those funds and wait in front of ATM, especially in the coronavirus time, and sometimes with lack of transparency. Another problem is the theft problem and risk that you mentioned earlier. And a problem that is specific to our organization, because we are coming from a telecom operator, the declining revenue due to rich offerings for the offer of the top services like WhatsApp, Skype, and Zoom. So what we are proposing, our solution is a touch mobile wallet, an application that allows secure, safe, risk-free, and easy-to-use cashless transactions, and thus solves all these problems by tackling SDG number 3, good health and well-being, through minimizing the spread of coronavirus with paper money, as well as SDG number 8, decent work and economic growth, by making the economy less vulnerable to cash scarcity and opening new fintech opportunities, as well as SDG number 9, industry innovation and infrastructure, through providing innovative digital method of conducting the traditional payment transactions and allowing a new revenue stream for touch. So what is the breakthrough with our idea? The user identification will be a subscriber base, and each subscriber will be identified by his unique MSSDN. We are a telecom operator. We have already the MSSDN of the customer, so it's easy to identify. And then we have the user interface, where the subscriber will be able to access and manage the wallet using the existing Touch mobile app. So our existing mobile app, it will be used also for this solution, the Touch mobile wallet. And the wallet refill, the subscriber can buy a wallet voucher similar to the prepaid vouchers available today to fill their wallet. And it can be a different value in the local currency, in our case, the Lebanese pound. For example, 10,000 pounds, 50,000 pounds, and so on. And it has no expiry date, and it has a flexible payment of method where you can pay, you can fill it through cash, through the website or mobile app, or through your credit card. The usage, we are giving here an example of the usage. All wallet user will be able to perform several transactions using this simple money transfer from wallet to another. So we are talking about money transfer, paying bills, recharge mobile lines, the prepaid lines, perform online and in-store transactions, transfer money, disperse salaries, that's from employer to their employees, collect loyalty points, and of course we'll have history, logs, and ability to consult a statement, and this will be beneficiary to track spending. This is your new wallet, and everyone will have it. the stakeholder in this solution will span the whole society and economy, from consumer like refugees, employees, family dependents, service providers like our barber, butcher, taxi driver, grocery, online shops, everywhere. And also we have the suppliers and the distributors. And from the stakeholders also we'll have the employers, where we have companies, shops, stores that want to disperse salaries to their employees, the government institution where we can pay our bills in the municipalities, ministries, and law forces, and also, and the most important, NGOs, where they can disperse donation to refugees and people on need. We will be following a transaction-based commission business model. So we'll charge a percentage of the transaction whenever any transaction is happening. For our solution to be successful, we will look for the early adopters for our solution. And those will be the refugees and NGOs. That was the case in Iraq, especially when it comes to dispersing funds. Second, we have the young dependents, where parents can disperse pocket money to those guys. And also family members, anyone who don't work and receive pocket money to cover their daily expenses. And one special case in Lebanon is the unbanked people. We see many bank population who are closing their accounts and becoming unbanked, and so they need a way to deal with payments. We will need to have the full cycle chain to gain momentum. Like we need the retailers, suppliers, all of those guys on board. I will now leave the floor for my colleague Malak to continue the presentation and to show us how the money can cycle in this solution. It's over to you, Malak.
Okay, so to better elaborate on the flow of money, we'll give a real-life example about Danny. Danny works at a small company and receives his salary on his Touch wallet. He transfers some credits from his wallet to his wife and his children. Danny and his family will use their wallets next to buy stuff from the local grocery or to pay for their bills like the telephone bill, the school tuition, online deliveries, or even for the janitor. These merchants and service providers will use the money that they receive to pay for their suppliers. And the suppliers in turn will disburse salaries to their employees. And so the cycle continues. Go-to-market plan. So Ali, if you can go to the next slide. Okay. So our go-to-market plan will focus on three main pillars. The first is awareness campaigns like digital marketing, social media, and SMS broadcasting. The second will be partnerships. We will partner with agents to increase our voucher distribution base. And the third would be loyalty programs and discounted offers to encourage consumers, retailers, and suppliers to join our network. In the next slide, we can see the competitive analysis table showing a competitive analysis among paper money, plastic cards, and Touch wallets. It's clear that Touch wallet covers all the comparison criteria like security against theft that Ali mentioned, safety from virus, disruption in delivering diversified services with very low commission, and the flexibility to be adopted by all consumers and merchants. We plan to implement the solution, the project, in three phases. In the short term, we will build on existing systems at Touch to allow payment transactions among Touch wallet holders. This requires short implementation time, low budget, and minimal approvals. The major revenue stream for Touch in this case would be the commission on transactions. In the midterm, we will integrate with the local financial system and issue virtual credit cards. This would require, of course, a dedicated mobile wallet platform and bigger budget. However, more revenues will be available from commissions on additional transactions that would happen, like cash out and cash in. And most importantly, from the accumulation of big data that we'll be able to use. Finally, on the long run, our plan is to integrate with international e-commerce to make our wallet trusted payment method and to open doors for Lebanese immigrants to transfer remittance to their families. Of course, with such a project, we'll encounter internal and external challenges, but we will be able to overcome with the solutions that we will be presenting. Internally, we'll have the current change in management at Touch. This is an internal issue that might delay our internal approvals. In addition, implementing a mobile wallet will require huge budget and technical implementation and investment. But we'll be able to cross this obstacle in phase 1, as we can see, by using existing touch systems and mobile app with minimal customization. As for the external challenges, legalizing mobile wallet in the country requires central bank approval and regulations. But following the latest events and crisis in Lebanon that you might be hearing about in the news, this is becoming much easier. And that's why we are delaying the integration with financial institutions till phase 2 until all these approvals are ready. The second challenge is having the general social acceptance of the people to the new idea. We're planning to engage stakeholders from the whole supply chain through a strong go-to-market strategy that I just explained. Finally, we have the urge of mobile wallet users to cash out their extra money. In phase 1, they can only reuse their accumulated money in the wallet cycle. But in phases 2 and 3, when we integrate with financial institutions, they will be even to cash them out or even to use them in international transactions. Despite these challenges, our solution will be a success, since there is a very real customer need for digital payment method now in Lebanon. And Touch, as a mobile operator with more than 2 million subscribers trusting it, it's qualified to execute such a project. Moreover, our sister opcos in Zain, we are one of the Zain opcos, in Zain, Jordan, and Iraq, they have successfully launched their mobile wallets. And within 1 year, as an example, in Iraq, 10% of their subscribers joined the wallet and performed transactions valuing $5 million. Out of them, $1.8 million were for salary disbursement to more than 3,200 employees. Finally, our project team, to have this project running and live, besides the YSIP innovators, we will need a diversified team, including engineers, financial experts, legal consultants, commercial and marketing representatives. Thank you. Any questions?
So thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks everyone. Thanks guys. Thank you Ali. Thank you Malak. Thank you Raji. We're super proud to have you part of the YSIP team in Lebanon, and we're very happy to see your project and the outcome of the project that you have been working on since last September. Thanks again for joining us. And up next, we have another team from Lebanon. It's Holdal. They have been working on an omni-channel concept store that will be open in Lebanon. And the range of products that will be offered in innovative formats range from eco-friendly capsules, all-in-one bar soaps, refillable containers of different sizes. So it's such a cool project. Let us hear from Haifa Najjar, Communication Manager, Joseph Matta, Talent Development Specialist, and Samir Haddad, Business Optimization Manager at Holdal. Guys, you can start now.
رونا كان في سؤال التيم بتاع الحرام يمكن مرة
Sorry. Hello. Hi. You may start. Please tell us more about this super cool idea that you've been working on.
First, let me first share my screen. So can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So hello everyone, and thank you for joining this session. I will be presenting today, as Bruna said, Holdal's group's YSIP solution. Since its foundation 70 years ago, Holdal Group has always been a prominent distributor of distinguished brands in various sectors, such as retail, luxury, FMCG, and pharmaceutical. Holdal also owns Incoma, its manufacturing arm, which is committed to becoming the manufacturing partner of choice for personal and home care products in the Middle East and African region, by consistently exceeding customer expectations and by offering a diversified portfolio in hair, body, and home care, along with perfumes and cosmetics brands. And I would also like to mention that entrepreneurship and innovation is a key value at Holdal, as we challenge ourselves to continuously explore new ideas, identify opportunities, and be innovative in providing solutions that will help in the growth of our brands, partners, and markets. We are also in the process of implementing our digital transformation project across all levels and functions. I would also like to identify our unique selling proposition as being an inclusive and accessible solution, proudly local and going global, pioneering and the learning and development on sustainability and partnership with the whole ecosystem for a win-win-win between industry, society, and our country. So, following the latest incidents in our Lebanese country, starting with the economic impact of the multiple crises in Lebanon, the COVID pandemic, which elevated the consciousness on health and safety, the increasing volumes of waste in Lebanon reaching 7,000 tons of solid waste. Consumers will be stretched with the impact of devaluation and inflation, with poverty rates unseen before, and the consumption will evolve. Less consumption and more sustainable consumption, eventually resulting in less waste. The crisis has also led to more local sourcing versus importation. So in order to respond to the growing need for more sustainable and responsible products and experiences, as well as the reality of our market and its disposable income, we need to pave the way for affordable, innovative, responsible solutions, products, and experiences, starting with our sourcing, production, and go-to consumer strategy. This will be done in partnership with our manufacturing arm, Incoma, which provides high flexibility in product customization and aims at anticipating and exceeding its customers' expectations by creating and delivering high quality and consumer products at competitive prices. So having said that, we decided to develop an integrated omni-channel concept store to embed circular thinking in the production and consumption of hygiene and personal care products, and to encourage new habits through the refill booth and this experience. So this is a shop-in-shop eco booth with dispensers of all the personal care variants where you refill your preferred product with as much quantity needed. So people bring their own bottles, pay as much as they fill, and also get rewarded. This concept will also include other substitutes for sure. We are currently testing this concept with 600 families of Holdal in our store called Hold and Shop, and we are also including entrepreneurs to validate the solution and our assumptions to recalibrate accordingly before we scale it up. The range of products will be offered in innovative formats such as eco-friendly capsules, all-in-one bar soaps, and refillable containers of different sizes that match the consumer's needs, of course. So the capsule is a totally eco-friendly shampoo, conditioner, or shower gel with biodegradable packaging, which dissolves in water just by adding some water to it. The bar soaps, on the other hand, are also ecological, vegan, cruelty-free, and natural to reduce the environmental impact. So we believe that this will also inspire the retailers, suppliers, as well as the producers alike to encourage local sourcing and rethink their production standards and methods in the effort to reduce waste and to drive a more circular economy. It will also enforce a more responsible consumer behavior towards the ecosystem, and consumers will be encouraged to reuse the containers and eventually reduce the waste generation. We intend to indirectly contribute to educate all our stakeholders around the benefit of circular economy and to build strategic alliances to increase demand and create economies of scale in Lebanon. We also believe that our solution is going to be a great opportunity for educational purpose. So working with schools and universities and current entrepreneurs who do not have the facility and infrastructure. This will reinforce the change from a sustainability point of view and will increase the demand to have more economy of scale. Therefore, our model will depend on local sourcing of raw materials so that we stop relying on imported goods and reduce the carbon footprint and promote from Lebanese to Lebanese. We also aim at building bridges with several entrepreneurs, NGOs, factories, financial institutions, which in turn will have positive impact on local agriculture, on local resourcing of raw materials, create employment opportunities, influence multiple stakeholders, whether local or international. Our solution will also be serving SDGs 3, 4, 9, 12, and 17. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Haifa, for this amazing presentation. If anyone has a question, please feel free to ask. We still have 5 minutes. And if not, if you want to type your question in the chat box, you can do so as well. Let me just take this opportunity to say thank you for all the hard work that you have been putting in this journey, and shout out to your champion, Ms. Maisa Abad. Shout out to all the champions who have been guiding the innovators since day one. Without you, we couldn't have done what we did already, and it's a great honor and privilege to have such projects to showcase during the Virtual Leaders Summit at this point.
Thank you, Bruna, and thank you all for giving us this opportunity as well.
If no one has a question, let us go with our next presentation. So the next team that will be showcasing their project will be Fransa Bank. They will be presenting a digital version of a financial literacy game targeting Lebanese youth between the age of 16 and 25. The team, they will be discussing the main objective, of course, of developing the game, but they will also talk about the challenges they faced throughout the YSIP journey, from the concept creation to the content development to securing financial funds for this game. And so with us, we have now Camille Saadeh, Senior Corporate Social Responsibility Officer at Fransa Bank, and Hassan Abu Aqdeh, Senior Advertising Officer. Hi guys, you can start your presentation.
Hello.
Please tell us more about your game.
Yes, I'm going to try to share the screen. Bruna, can you please give me the access to share my screen? Because I can't see it anywhere here.
It's right next to your mic option. You can just click on share screen and this is it.
Okay. I'm trying to. The button is not working. It's
okay.
For some reason, I can't see that anywhere. It's there's a red bar on the.
Yes, click on it. You have to click on the red bar.
Not enabling.
Not enabling. Let me check one time. One more. So can you see it now?
We can. Great.
So you can see it.
Yes, the big bag challenge.
Perfect.
Let's go.
So I have a question for you. So how many of you remember the first time they entered a bank? Camille, do you remember the first time you entered the bank?
Yeah, I do. I was 18 years old.
Oh, okay. So my experience actually was with my father when he took me to a bank to sign papers and some stuff, but I had no idea actually what to do and what are the papers that I was signing and what's next. So this is actually a lack of financial literacy, and a lack of financial literacy in education has undoubtedly played a major role in shaping our world. And many of the young people under the illusion that simply having a lot of money is enough and there is no chance to have any debt, and how banks operate. So as we can see, many of the young people are lost. They don't know what to do with their money or don't know how banks operate. And as we can see, or everyone knows, people or young people nowadays are all the time on their mobile phones, stuck to their screens. They are on digital, they are on social media. So why we came up with the Big Bang Challenge from Fransa Bank. Fransa Bank is the first registered bank in Lebanon. It started in Beirut in 1921. And when we did a small research in the bank, we realized that the average age of consumers in Fransa Bank is high. So we have a need to increase the share of young customers in our portfolio. Technology is taking, of course, all the sectors, including the financial sector. For example, now we have the online transfers, we have the virtual assistants, we have everything is accessible over the mobile app or online. So for the external factors, I spoke about the internal factors at first. The external factors, we all know about the lack of financial education, as I spoke previously, in our society, in Lebanon especially. And there's another reason, the severe economic crisis that has hit Lebanon since October 2019. And this has led to deepen the gap between the consumers and the banking sector. And it has led to a strong breakdown in the financial market. So our project is actually targeting SDG 4 quality education and SDG 9 industry innovation and infrastructure. But of course, we all know that all SDGs are interlinked, and to have a final project, we have to target all the SDGs. And this is where, of course, and to cooperate with third parties, which is actually reflected in SDG 17, which is, in my opinion, is the most important SDG. So I'll leave it to my colleague Camille now.
Okay, now when it comes to the concept creation, we all know that this idea, this concept already exists, adopted by international banks. However, locally, it's a new idea. And this idea is new not only in Lebanon, but also in the region. So what we are trying here to do is to fill a local vital need by educating the young and changing the culture and the mindset of people. So first of all, our target is the Lebanese youth, as mentioned here, from 16 to 25 years old. It's a free mobile application game that will be available. It will be, of course, educational, but also a fun game that will replicate the world in a virtual way with a modern economy and society, through which people will learn how to respect the environment and build stronger communities. While playing, users will benefit from financial and non-financial incentives. For the financial incentives, we have, of course, like cashback and discounts at selected merchants. However, we have also decided after the COVID-19 crisis to dig further into the interest of the generation Y and Z. So we decided to include an option through which people could transfer their financial rewards to local NGOs so they could contribute and feel more engaged in their communities. For the non-financial incentives, we have the job shadowing days and the internships. Of course, this, we believe, will lead to long-term relation with the bank and a culture change regarding saving and money investing. Now, here is a summary of our stakeholders. You can see our four main stakeholders: the users, of course, the people who will play the game; executive management, without their full endorsement, we cannot achieve the project; and the internal departments, which may include like retail department, business development, the ICT division, and of course the game experts. Now here you can see a categorization of our users. Of course, anyone can play the game. It's for the general public, but in particular, the lead account holders are the people that will benefit from our incentives. At France Bank, we already have a lead account that is for the youth, and these people, within their account, they will receive the financial incentives that will be credited to their accounts. Okay, the game, of course, we want it to be sustainable. We don't want people to upload the app and just play it once or twice. So for it to be sustainable, we will need to invest money, of course, but the main challenge is to create a catchy concept to which people would love to come back and play every time to collect more rewards. So the incentives also will have to be more appealing to them and related to their interests. And of course, we are looking for a long-term return on investment by building strong relation and loyal customers. The product has already been tested. It was launched in 2017 as a cardboard game. And in fact, it was really successful. We reached 1,920 students as of end of 2019. And like the students were all really excited about playing it. And they all asked to receive the game. So here you can see the game. You can see the students here at the bank playing the game and the cards.
So of course, we need to market this solution. First, you will start with a full-fledged campaign. Of course, the main focus is on digital, since most of the youth aged between 16 and 25 are mainly on their mobile phones and they are all connected online. And then as my colleague Kami said, the mobile app will be free of charge. It will be, of course, on iOS and on Google Play. And focusing mainly on the partnerships, we have mentioned previously that we are working on incentives. As Kami said, some of them are financial and others are working with NGOs, etc. But we will also be working with schools and universities and influencers. Actually, we've done it before. We had influencers in university campuses. They were playing with students and they giving them ideas about the game. This reflects the most important SDGs in my opinion, SDG 17. And finally, for the boot camps, we did it during the Global Money Week. We had for 3 consecutive years. We worked on a full week with students. We had around 1,920 students, I guess, Camino. Yeah. And the feedback was amazing. We have, of course, challenges, starting with the external factors, the Lebanese economic crisis. Everyone knows that we are facing a deep economic crisis that hit all of us. And this led, in a way or another, to a lack of trust in the banking sector, in the banking system in Lebanon. And finally, we had the COVID-19, which was really hit us everywhere. And actually, we were planning to do boot camps, focus groups with the students to understand their needs and their interests so we can have incentives, related incentives. But unfortunately, because of the confinement and the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to freeze all these activities. Moving to the behavior and needs of Generation Y and Z. Y and Z have a high opinion of banks in general, but they don't have actually. And they, as I said before, they do not have the knowledge of how banks operate. So attracting them as customer is quite challenging because we all know that they are looking for something that's different from other generations and their traditional than any traditional financial institution offers, including the products and services that you all know, for example, a car loan or a housing loan. And for the product creation and development, to design and deliver a comprehensive content to which the target audience would relate, that was a main challenge for us. And we were supposed to work with developers from agencies. We have a lot of startup agencies in Lebanon that work in digital field. Unfortunately, we were not able to meet all of them and to know more about the content and the information that we want to share in the game. And choosing the right partners. We have a lot of agencies. We wanted to be sure that we are working with the correct ones. That was a challenge as well. And reaching the Lebanese youth across the country, regardless the gender and the culture and background and other factors, because everyone in Lebanon probably might be connected to the internet. It varies from a region to another, and we want to reach everyone. And finally, securing the decision makers and fund support the product development. We mentioned so many times that some top management would have some kind of resilience for it. We are looking for to get the correct fund in order to have this project moving from the cardboard game to a digital in order to reach the maximum number of clients and users. So this is our presentation. This is our product, our solution. I hope that it offers you some kind of answers and for you and for colleagues maybe.
Thank you, Hassan and Camille. It's definitely a great project, and I personally can't wait to try it out as soon as it's released. We can see that there are some specific questions for you guys, so please go ahead and answer them in the chat box, or if you want to answer them, you still have 5 minutes to do so. We have a question from and another one asking, when are you expecting to go live? I think we lost them. We're gonna wait 1 more minute. All right. So, Hassan as well.
Okay, so the question was, when are you expecting? Okay, so the first phase was the art. We are planning to, first of all, we have to have these focus groups that we spoke about. We want to know more about the interests and the needs of consumers that are still 25. Product should be working on the project when confinement is over, when the government to, of course, COVID-19 is over soon. First step to continue to resume our work is to sit with these students, have focus groups, understand their needs. We move on with the digital experts. We have numbers and to work with them. They had a previous experience in digital solutions. So as a first step is the focus group.
All right.
And
the
there's
next,
Kiro.
exactly. From Kiro.
Financial behaviors you are trying to affect, for example, to increase the level of savings money, circular economy and stuff like that. You can answer that.
Hello, Kiro. Yes, actually, we are working on specific financial behaviors, such as saving money, of course, and also investing money, not only saving in the bank and like just depending on interest rate to live and to survive. So we are trying to change a culture in Lebanon, because Lebanese people tend always to save money and just live out of the interest rate they get back from the bank. So we are trying to change this mentality by encouraging investment and creating a circular economy.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, Kiro.
Exactly, SCG investing. So thank you, Hassan and Sami. Thank you for your intervention. And up next, we have Mozart Khatib, who is a software engineer at Integrated Digital Systems. Mozart and his team, they have been working on a platform that offers internship programs for companies and NGOs. And here's a hint. Actually, they tried to work on this project within the COVID-19 pandemic and see how now we can transform and shift the internships from physical internships to virtual internships. So let us hear from Mozart and his team. I'm going to accept him now. Good luck, IDS. You have some support over here. I'm sorry for the technical problem that you're facing, but hold on, guys. We have a very interesting presentation for you. Bank, you are great. Yes, indeed. And don't forget that you can chat with all the participants by clicking on their profile. You can send them a direct message on Hopin. And you can also head to the networking area that you can see on the left side of the screen, where you can also meet other innovators, leaders in sustainability sphere, and you can just meet anyone you like. So please feel free to do so, but after this session, because we're now going to hear from Maza. So we're gonna go live in 2 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm terribly sorry. We have a small technical issue, but hey, we're using the platform for the first time. I can see that some of you are leaving, so please stay here.
Hello, Bruna. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Hello, everyone. I'm very sorry. I don't know what's the problem. The internet was perfect, and suddenly I got disconnected.
It's okay. We're all dealing with this virtual world that we're living in right now. It's totally fine.
So I'll be sharing my screen with you.
Yes, please.
Do you have to allow that from your side?
No, just click on the screen next to the mic option.
I did that. It asked me. Okay, sure. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
So
please go ahead.
Hello, I'm Mazar, and I work as a software engineer at IDS. Well, software, computers, and technology are here to make our lives easier by creating solutions to a wide variety of problems, whether these are business, workplace, or problems in the society. And this is exactly what we do at IDS. I'm here to showcase our journey throughout the YSIP program and how we plan to help fresh graduates get on track to starting their professional career. Our project mainly focuses on SDGs number 8 and 4. But since all SDGs are interconnected, our solution will have an indirect effect on all other SDGs. So let's get going. When I graduated from the university as a software developer, I went looking for a job in the field of computer science. And many of the listings were related to frameworks that I've never worked with at the university. Well, that's not the problem with the curriculum of the university. It's impossible to cover thousands of frameworks in 4 years university, especially in the field of computer science, which evolves every day. So the only option I was left with is watching tens of online courses and trainings to gain specific experience for specific market needs and to be able to get a job in this challenging market. But this was not the case for many of my fellow graduates who ended up working in a completely different field. So My teammates and I, along with our company, IDS, are proud to be part of the Global Compact community that strives to develop the world we live in. We similarly believe that companies, no matter their size, have a core role to play in relation to the development of their communities and to do business responsibly. We took on this challenge with the YSIP program to search for problems in our own community and develop solutions for them. And our focus lays on youth and fresh graduates mainly. Today, I'm going to present a modern way for conducting internship programs in response to the YSIP challenge. So, why companies make internship programs? Basically, an internship program is a short-term project or training offered by companies for graduates and undergraduate students, where companies have the chance to find talents among young generations and fresh graduates, giving them the chance to explore real-world job experience. So, what is the problem with current internship programs? We are part of a company that is driven by innovation. We work in the field of software and technology, and thus we always seek fresh and new talents to join our team to grow further. It has been a challenge for us personally to find the best talents and to deliver internship programs for large pools of fresh graduates and students because of the lack of tools and resources and the high costs of those programs. Not to forget that large pools of students requires a large space. And let's face it, not all companies have the comfort and luxury of owning unlimited space. So small businesses and startups might not be able to conduct internship programs. In addition to existing challenges and problems, the current virus made the situation even worse and made it more difficult to conduct those programs due to the lockdown and the practice of social distancing. Well, if we look at this problem from the youth's perspective, we found that the youth are suffering a great deal. Their development and professional growth is put on hold due to the virus and the global economic decline. Especially in our Lebanese society, youth is left with almost no opportunities to grow with unemployment rate of 40% and still rising due to local economic crisis. Fresh graduates have a huge and large gap of practical know-how to be filled before being able to become part of a functional team. This gap can be filled by trainings and internship programs delivered by companies to help them in developing their skills in order to meet the market needs. So, how can we solve these problems? We found that we need a new business model of operation that would support young generations without having a negative impact on companies. A model that is resilient and capable of surviving unforeseen events such as COVID-19. As a software company, we solve problems by creating tech solutions. Similarly, we went on to develop an online platform for businesses to use for running internship programs remotely. The platform will allow businesses to run low-cost internship programs using minimal resources and requiring the least amount of supervision and office space. Businesses will be able to reach out to a larger pool of candidates and to find the best talent. On the other hand, we are opening the door for more students to gain real-world job experience with a chance of getting a job earlier, resulting in lower unemployment rates, especially among the youth. The increase in internship programs will erase the existing knowledge gap and will make the youth more professionally equipped and ready to become part of companies. Well, we know that demand and supply in specific majors is not always aligned. So not all graduates have the chance of getting a job. But at least when equipping graduates with a powerful skill set, we are opening the door for innovation and allowing them to draw their own paths. Now, please allow me to show you a demo of the prototype of our project. So, what you see on the screen is a prototype of our platform to be. This might not be the most amazing design of a website, but it will help me show you how the flow of the application. On the landing page, visitors can search for programs and view them. Visitors can choose to enroll in programs of their interest. Our platform supports 3 types of users. The first one are administrators. Admins are representatives of the company. They can edit the company profile, add employees and collaborators to the platform, and manage internship programs from the backend. The second type are teachers. Teachers can be employees selected by the company to guide and assist students throughout the internship program. They have access to a list of all the programs they are part of. They can manage these programs as well as add new ones. A program can be divided into several sections, lessons, or periods. Well, okay. Each lesson can have its own instructor based on the content and material, and instructors are able to attach video links and documents as a reference for students to help them throughout their tasks. The third type of users are the applicants or candidates enrolled in specific internship programs. They have their own dashboard. They can view their registered programs. As a program is divided into sections or periods, users can navigate these sections. They can download and view the content, and they can also upload content and material for specific tasks. To make the platform more interactive and alive, we added a discussion forum to allow students to make one-on-one discussions or group discussions with their mentors. So, students who complete an internship program are rewarded with tags featuring what they have learned throughout the internship program or what they have learned so far. Also, companies and mentors get featured on the platform as a reward for their collaboration to the cause of our platform. We still have so much to add, but this was an overview of the basic features offered.
Thank you, Mozart, for sharing.
I still have some points. Do I still have time?
You still have 5 minutes, exactly.
Yes, I'll try to hurry as much as possible.
Sure.
Well, okay, I'll stop sharing. So, COVID-19 has proven that office presence is not important and that it can be replaced with remote work, especially in tech fields. With current technology and tools at hand, there's no better time to reimagine the workplace. And in the near future, we'll be seeing more and more companies adopting remote work. With these facts, we believe that making internship programs remotely will equip fresh graduates with the skills and confidence to work remotely and independently with minimal supervision. We call for enterprises around the world to take similar paths towards supporting the youth in their growth and professional development, especially in difficult times as now. Our platform will be open to all companies and job seekers around the world, so you'll hear from us soon. We thank the UN Global Compact for this initiative, and we believe that all businesses should involve in global development and in embedding the SDGs into their business solutions. Honestly speaking, companies who wish to flourish and evolve should look towards their community, solve their problems, and look after them. Nowadays, it's not enough to have an amazing product or solution. Community awareness has put restrictions to accepting or rejecting the solution based on its impact on the society or the environment, for example. A product that harms the environment, no matter how useful it is not going to be accepted by a wide range of community-aware clients. IDS have been supporting the local community for the past 29 years of operation and always will, and we urge other companies to do so as well. Personally, I've learned a lot throughout this journey. Thanks to GCNL, I had the chance to be mentored by inspiring leaders and professionals who had a great impact on my way of thinking and on how I approach business solutions. Not to forget the workshops that allowed us to share thoughts and ideas with members from other organizations and different fields of work. We would be very happy to hear how other companies in other countries are performing internship programs, especially during the lockdown. And we'll appreciate any feedback and any ideas to further improve our solution. Thanks to everyone for their time, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mozart. I'm pretty sure that a lot of our network members will start using this platform and will benefit from all the services and internship services that you will be
I hope so.
offering. Thank you. So, over the course of 2 days, we listened to inspiring entrepreneurs from across the globe. We also discovered fantastic initiatives and projects that the innovators have been working on. Thanks everyone for tuning in. The summit is not over yet. We still have the SDG Futures Lab later on today. It's one of the sessions scheduled. Remember that you can head to the plenary room and sessions to discover more insights from leading voices from business, government, the United Nations, civil society, and academia, and interact with more than 17,000 attendees. It was my great privilege to kick off the first panel at this YSIP Lounge, and now we are closing it with this session. As we continue to combat current crises, including COVID-19, remember that only by uniting business for a better world that you can recover better, recover stronger, and recover together. Thanks everyone, and please enjoy the rest of the summit.
Thank you so much, Bruna. Thank you for ending the YSIP Lounge in such a great way with all of those great presentations from the teams in Lebanon. And thank you to everyone that contributed, both as a participant, being so engaged with your questions and comments, as well as all of the local networks that helped organize all of the great sessions, all of the speakers, the presenters, innovators, mentors, champions. I really want to give a huge thank you to Ashley. Ashley, I don't know if you're on, but if you want to turn on your screen. You've been so instrumental in putting all of this together. It's really been an amazing 2 days to be able to see everything that we've done throughout the program across all of the different countries. Hearing all of the different solutions has been really amazing and so exciting. So thank you so much. Ashley, do you want to add any words?
I just want to say it's been really great to hear everyone's solutions. They were really, a lot of them were really inspiring. So it was great to end yesterday on that high note and also today on that high note. And now we're really excited to have our SDG Futures Lab, which is going to start, I think, in an hour and a half. So everyone can go over there next and fun will continue over there.
Yes, join us in 90 minutes in the breakout session where we'll be having the second of our SDG Futures Lab. So we'll be hearing some more innovative solutions from some of our young SDG innovators. Thank you again so much for joining. And we hope to share more opportunities like this soon, featuring more of our young SDG innovators. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.